You hear me now, just to make sure?
Yeah,
Yeah, we
we
can
hear
hear you.
you.
Perfect.
Cool.
Perfect. Hey, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to Home Theater Hub number 35. That's right. I was mistaken last week. I said 35 last week, but it's number 30. It was number 34. I had to go back and check myself. So, as you guys can see, we got a full panel tonight. So we're waiting for Paul to join. Uh, the audio. There he is right there, joining in right now.
Yeah.
We got Deep Sea Sound. We got Jeremy from Tech Enthusiasm. We got Siphonics Audio in the house. And always, Easy HT Tech. And I'm
Yeah.
Don from Horizon Home Theater. Welcome, everyone. Glad that everybody
Awesome.
could join us tonight.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you.
So, Paul, what you got going on tonight, man? As usual, right on time, right at the
Nah.
crack of the bell.
Crack of the bell. Yeah, same old, same old. Just doing some, different stuff. I've making some of these panels, and they're gonna be pretty cool. As you can see, once I get
Oh,
done.
nice.
Oh, you 3D printed
Oh,
that,
yeah.
right? That was the 3D
Yeah,
printing.
yeah. So it'll be pretty cool when it's done, and I'm gonna have a bunch of poster art for all my favorite anime and movies and stuff. So it'll look cool when it's
Oh,
done. But
busy. Well, I like it. Looks
lots,
good, man.
lots of work involved in that one, and lots of design and CAD and all kinds of stuff. But anyways, it'll be cool when it's done.
So I'm hoping that Mr. Jeff is on the top left of everybody else's screen. Mr. Jeff Robinson, how are you doing, sir?
Hey, I'm doing well. I'm happy to be here. I always watch these, but be involved with one's kind of cool now. So
Yeah,
big
no.
big fan of everybody's pages. So
Tell us a little bit
fan.
about yourself, since you're new to the show.
Yeah. So I live in Knoxville, Tennessee. I'm originally from Cincinnati, Ohio. Um, I've been in sales my whole life. I'm currently a e-commerce director for apparel and branding company here in Knoxville, Tennessee. We manage support about 30 websites, and so I got a team of people. We're constantly doing product development, that kind of stuff, and on my free time, I work for Deep Sea Sound with David, uh, building subs. Well, I don't build the subs, but helping him with the subs and feeding my home theater addiction, which has been pretty bad over the years, but finally in a good spot, I think, with my current situation. So just a huge enthusiast. Was blessed and honored to be part of M-Wave a few weeks ago and meet a bunch of guys. And um, just besides that, married, no kids, one dog. Um, my wife and I love being aunt and uncles, so I think that covers most of it.
That's
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Fun fact. I used to live in Mount Juliet, Tennessee.
Oh, awesome,
Yep.
man! About two
Yeah.
hours from here. Sweet.
Yep.
All right, and then middle left. We're gonna go Brady Bunch here. So, um, middle left, we got David Gage from Deep Sea Sound. How's it going, David?
It's going well. Thanks for having me.
Very good, very good. We appreciate you guys joining us tonight on the show. Look forward to talking about some of your products that you got and just the experience that we had there at M-Wave with them. So, give us a little background about yourself.
Yeah, let's see. So, live in Knoxville, Tennessee as well. Jeff and I met on AVS Forum and then found out we lived close to each other. We were definitely interested in home theater, and it just sort of built from there. I ended up starting Deep Sea Sound, and he got some of our subwoofers, and we've just been really good friends for the past 12 or so years. So um, that's one of the cool things about the hobby is the people you meet. M-Wave has quite a few of those, and people were coming from all over the world, all over the United States, and some people you don't see since last year you get to see again. And it is just cool, this hobby sort of, people get along and have an interest that is shared. And so it's very cool. but live in Knoxville, Tennessee. Started Deep Sea Sound back in 2014, and it's we're trying to grow it. With COVID, it slowed some of our plans, but you know, at M-Wave, we were trying to push some things which we'll discuss. Other than that, I've got 2 kids, 21. They're boy and girl twins, so you know, those 2 are fun, and going to school and working. And let's see, just hanging out around the house and working way too much, you know. So,
But
but
it
it's all
can't be
good.
work if you enjoy it, right? So can't be work
Yeah.
if you enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm redoing the kids' bathroom right now, so
That's
that
work.
does feel
Yeah,
like work.
that's work. You don't even have to explain that one. That's plenty of work.
All right. And in the middle square, we got Jeremy from Tech Enthusiasm. What's going on, Jeremy? Thanks for joining us.
Yeah. Thanks for having us. Yeah, appreciate it. Ike made the invitation a couple times in the past weeks to come join you guys, but it finally worked out for this one. So happy to be here.
I was on your live stream last night while you know, just chatting with you through chat and stuff like that. So I appreciate you putting up all my comments and everything else like that. We were talking about the Strato pretty heavily, and we'll probably go into that a little bit. Well,
Was
maybe
he
more
one
than
of
a
the
little
guys?
bit.
Was
Maybe
Don
more than
one
a
of-
little bit tonight.
Was Don
Yeah,
one of
that's
the
what I
guys you
presume.
had to ban from the live stream, Jeremy?
No, there were a
Was it
couple
Don?
characters though.
I hope
Yeah,
There
So-
were a couple characters last night.
I saw your community post afterwards. Like,
Yeah. Hey, it's the internet. You never know what you're going to get sometimes.
so then we got Mr. Joseph from Symphonic Audio. How are you, sir?
I've been well, just working most of the time. That's the reason why I miss a lot of these shows. I don't get to come on so late at night, but I had a flood in my living room. Thank God nothing
Ooh.
got damaged. The floor got damaged, and they repaired all that today. So now I'm just making sure that everything's good and still got to monitor things. So yeah, figured I would.
I thought you went to day shift. Wasn't that the you were going to free up some time by going
yes.
to day shift?
Yes, and day shift for me means waking up at like 4:30 and trying enough to get awake at that time. So it means I miss out on a lot of my late night stuff.
Yeah. No, I'm actually glad you joined because I got a special thing that I'm going to be opening up here. So I'd like to get your opinion on it later on. We're going to do a live unboxing too. So
Nice.
I'd like to get your opinion on, you know, on some specs because you definitely qualify. I'm just going to give a tidbit. You definitely qualify in the amplifier category much more than I do. So I'm glad you jumped on.
Nice.
So, all right. And then obviously we got Mr. Ike. Mr. Ike was having some difficulties again today, but we were able to make it online.
You didn't have to put it out there.
Hey man, you know, we got to let everybody know in the community what's going on. You guys ragged the hell out of me about my theater, so I figured I can mess with you about your camera. So.
Yeah, I think I need a cable, but yeah, theater, camera. Yeah, well, if you say that, I'll take it. But yeah, I've been good, just staying busy and playing around with a couple of just movies and stuff. And
Oh yeah, Sniper.
yep, Space Station.
Okay, IMAX. What's that? Like a demo? An IMAX demo?
It's an IMAX, but it's just about Space Station and all the
Oh, okay.
you know. If you
You get those from Prime Day?
No, I actually have had them for a while, but they've just been sitting down unused or untouched. So I figured, just rip them up so I can take some time this weekend to enjoy some movies and I got Eric in the green room. Let me pull him in real quick before he
Boy, we
punches
got
me
a
in the
full
face.
house coming in.
I know.
Oh, it was
Wow.
too late. I just sent him a text.
I
I'm
just
already in here,
No,
dude.
I'm
dropped
here. I'm
again.
still here. I'm still here.
Oh, okay.
Because
There we
I
go.
used a different camera. I'm using a different camera, so I have to switch my inputs. But yeah, so it's been a fun but busy week. But I'm excited. It looks like there's a lot going on tonight. So let's
Yeah,
have fun.
we got a lot to unwrap. So let's jump right into it. If you could share, I don't know, do you have a share screen for 8?
Yeah, I think so. But I might just have to go full screen.
So those of you that did not attend M Wave, Deep Sea Sound was an exhibitor there, and man, I tell you, we had some really good conversations, and if you haven't been to M Wave, as long as there's going to be one next year, I would definitely suggest that you guys try to attend this audio show, because it really was fantastic. It allows you to talk to the the actual companies that are making these products, and get down to a level of just straight to the consumer, not to the dealer. Mr. Eric, I want to invite you. How are you doing today? Appreciate that.
I'm good,
Thank you
brother.
for joining
I'm
in.
gonna tell you, I saw Deep Sea Sound on the announcement of this, and I joined, and I love that display, dude. Like it was on. I don't know if you guys have seen I advertise Build Montage. Build Montage put out a video for M Wave that I did some interviews, and I was blown away by. I mean, last year Deep Sound killed it. This year, Deep Sound didn't have a full room that they shared with Stereo Integrity, but they did have a display. And I'm gonna need that aluminum anodized case in my room. I'm gonna need like, and I got a funny blooper in my video. So when I actually rolled up and I was doing filming, I don't know if y'all remember this from Deep Sea. Uh, I was actually filming for like 4 minutes and didn't realize I was filming. Like I did the introduction. I'm like, tell me about your product. What do you got going on? Thanks for being here. And then we were just BSing. And as I set up to film that case, and I started talking to him like, guys, we've been filming this entire time, but we all had to like look at each other and be like, did we say anything? I don't think we said anything. I think we're good, right? I think we're good. And anyways, that cabinet, honestly, like it blew me away. I love aluminum anodized look, and I love stereo integrity from last year. I don't you probably y'all probably don't remember. I actually helped you like set up. I was like, move this over here. It needs to be straight. Move this over there. And then this year, I didn't spend a ton of time with you all, but this is the first year that I got Tony to put a video up for me. But I just wanted to say that case. Does that say
Even
$17,200?
do it. I just shook my head, like trying to make sure I was looking right.
It
Yeah,
does.
I'm looking this
I
up
mean,
on the
To
side.
say
Yeah, holy
it
cow.
took more effort than expected. I wanted to have that, a little cheaper, but you know, we didn't cut corners, and when we had a decision to make, what's going to give us better performance,
I
that's
mean,
that's our answer.
I'm just gonna say like I gave you guys a little bit of publicity. Just throwing that out there.
No, but there are definitely more affordable products. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
We'll definitely
So
get to that.
what does
We all
that
and,
enclosure what does that
I'm
enclosure
just gonna.
do? I'm sorry.
So the I'll go through the spiel real quick. So it's made out of aluminum 6061, which is 4 times as dense as the Baltic birch plywood, and we're using half the thickness, 3/8 inch aluminum versus 3/4 inch Baltic birch, which is a premium plywood. We stack in the front, so it's very strong. But when you look at it, half the thickness, but 4 times the density, it is still 2 times the density in the aluminum. And so that bears out in the weight of the enclosure, 102 pounds versus 45 pounds for our wooden enclosure. So it's really density, and it's also something different. We that was one of the reasons we did it as well. Is there's some people that will spend 10, 20 or more $1,000 for, incremental improvements. And, it gives us 16% more airspace, so the driver does work a little better. We have CEA 2010 results up there, and the aluminum enclosure did score a little better, but about a dB,
No,
depending on
straight gorgeous.
frequency.
It's gorgeous. Like that picture does it absolutely no justice. That thing is gorgeous. It's beautiful.
Yeah,
Appreciate it,
no,
and the guy that welded it, put his literally blood, sweat, and tears into it. He really appreciates that. I appreciate that. Thank you.
yeah, it was something that definitely caught everybody's idea. It was on like a turntable type
Yeah.
Yep.
of type of thing, and just walking by that display was really good. And Paul actually got pretty creative. He was trying to put his camera on top of it. He put his camera inside of it. he was and thing was spinning around like doing all kind of crazy stuff, trying to get a different shot there. But I mean, it's definitely was an eye catcher. You know, it was the first thing that I looked at. So with this aluminum enclosure, what I would think that metal would resonate a little bit more. Is that the case, or how does that protect against resonance?
Yeah. So I mean, the density, pushes that resonance up. So it's not anywhere in the, everything resonates, but it's not in the subwoofer range. You can sort of see by this picture, the four bracing inside, that are, all around the perimeter there. So it gets welded on each of those. The back is doubled up. The front assembly, like our wood subs, is very strong. So no, we don't have any resonances. We were worried about, hey, how's it going to sound? But it sounded just a tad bit tighter. I think because it has a little more airspace to work with. Didn't get any ringing in the enclosure. When we did our CEA 2010 testing, we didn't, get any noises or anything. So we're we did our testing. We were worried. Hey, we just spent all this time and effort. Even the welder we bought cost more than that subwoofer or sells for. So we had a heck of investment, and there was that sort of, how's it going to sound? And fortunately, sounds great.
Yeah, no,
Well,
it definitely looks good. Go ahead, Eric.
I was just gonna throw in there.
What
The
were you going to
pictures
say?
are odd. I was gonna say you can't see the side bracing in person. I thought that was odd that you can see it in pictures. I don't remember seeing that in person. But B, I actually thought I asked the same question, Don, in person about the resonance of this, and I was told the exact same thing. And I thought about it after the fact. If you logically think about the way resonance sounds with metal that we've likely all heard in our lives, it's very high pitched. And so I'm on board with the LFE levels that you're going to hear out of a subwoofer. You're not going to hear from aluminum or any other metal. They're going to resonate at a higher pitch. That just makes logical sense to me. I would love to hear this subwoofer in person, but again, I mean, I heard that and I put thought to it after the fact. Just makes sense to me. Like it's gonna resonate. My 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 side lights on my room resonate, but they all resonate at different pitches, frequencies that are higher level from a metal perspective than they do at the LFE level. So I just wanted to
Yeah,
throw
I
that out.
mean, look, they make diffusers that are or absorption that actually has a piece of aluminum in front of it for subwoofer. So I can definitely understand your logic there also. So because I was looking at them, I spoke to Matt Pose and he was like showing me different different links and stuff because I was looking for absorption for subwoofer, for subwoofer frequencies, and I was like, man, this thing's got metal in front of it, so you got, I guess you got to stop it some way. But yeah, so we won't keep you on the most expensive thing that you have on your page. So let's go to this page, because now we get into some really nice products that are, I mean, look, you got dual 18s for 16, I mean, for 6,000, so if you want to go through a couple of these products and just talk about them, let's I can click on each one and we can go through them if you want.
Okay, yeah, I'd say start at the Mariana 18S in the upper left. That's probably the one that we sell the most. Even though, oftentimes we'll get contacted and they're like, I want the 24. I want the 24. It's so impressive. And that's right. I mean, that thing in room, I've measured over a dozen rooms with the Mariana 24, and it's flat to 7 hertz in room. One customer had it in a corner of a really big room open to the kitchen and dining room, was flat to 6 hertz. So yeah, the 24 is potent, but even the 18 there is flat to 9 or 10 hertz in room at reference level output. So the reason why this is our biggest seller, though, is, I often tell people, hey, one Uber subwoofer, yeah, that's great, but you might want to think about the sound in your room a little more even at more seating positions. 124, it'll keep you happy, it'll be nice, but it's not going to sound as good in your room as a pair of 18s. And so that's why, even if somebody contacts us for 24s, 124, I'll often suggest they look at a pair of 18s. But the best is if you have 4 uh, subwoofers around the room. That's where you start to get pretty even bass. If you want more even bass from that, you need to start spending more money, get a design plan for specific to your room, and figure out, hey, you need another subwoofer on the side wall somewhere. Is that near the front or rear on the side to get the real even bass? Or you can start to get into bass arrays, you can get into Trinnov waveforming. This stuff gets so interesting and complex, which is one of the things I love about audio. So that was a little bit of an aside, but
So the price. Oh, go ahead, Jeremy. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm just curious, where'd the name come from? What does the Mariana mean to the brand?
That's the Mariana Trench in the ocean. So the idea was, hey, we have deep bass, clean sounding bass. That's what I think of as the Mariana Trench. The unfortunate thing is, I think about other products beyond that. Hey, what are we going to name it if we come out with a speaker line, or what if we have a different type of subwoofer or something? You'd think there were a lot of C names that we could use, but it's a little harder to find those. So I'll have to get real, or the team will have to get real creative if we come out with a different line of products.
You could start naming them based off of ships or warships or classic.
Submarines.
Yeah.
I did want to echo the point, though, like 124 versus 218s. I have 218s in my room, like 100%. Like that, you want the more even bass, and I give feedback to folks all day long in the Discord server I'm in, and so I just want to 100% echo that. I had 118 that was near field in my room, and through various REW measurements around the room, found I had a null in a few of my seats. Got a second 18-inch, fixed the problem. Love to have more 18 inches. I heard that a anodized aluminum case was 18-inch. Throwing that out there, but anyways, having more subs around the room definitely going to help you out for sure. So I'm just going to echo that.
This
Yeah,
zebra
and
wood
to
is
Yeah,
just
I was gonna say
go ahead.
yeah,
I started out with two 18s and two 24s in my old room, and when I was building this new room, I decided that I needed everything out of sight. I didn't want to see anything, so it kind of limited right now having more than two subs. But I was able to place the two 24s up front a little bit better because my room's on a second floor. It's a single row, and it gets a little too crazy. But one wasn't doing it, and so if I had to choose, I was the same way. If I had to choose between 124, two 18s, I would have gone two 18s. But I had two 24s, so I'm good.
yeah,
Definitely have to
and to your
calibrate.
point on
Ike.
the Knolls,
Go ahead.
sorry, I was
Sorry.
just going to say the point on the Knolls. For those that have multiple subwoofers, if you're not sure what we're talking about, you know, turn all your subs off except for one of them, play your sub, and walk around the room. It'll be boomy in the corners, and like you say, somewhere near the center, you're going to have less bass. It's going to be a null, and that's just the long bass waves interacting with the shape and size of a particular room. And so I often tell people, hey, just play one sub and you'll know exactly what we're talking about. And, two, four subs, definitely even that out so you don't hear those knolls or the boominess in the corners.
So I have a question here. I'm looking at the website here, and it shows one of these with the carbon fiber driver, and then it shows the next one with a different cone.
Yeah,
What's
that's just the older version of the driver. We all of our subwoofers now come with the latest, which is our carbon fiber driver, and that's where the CEA 2010 testing comes from because that is a beefier driver. That's the Stereo Integrity HST 18, 85-pound driver. So that magnet motor, moving a 1.5-pound cone pretty much gets it to do whatever it wants. So it's a very clean sounding, in some cases brutal, but it'll stop on a dime and the cone will do whatever that magnet motor tells it to do.
and
And
let
it
me
says
ask:
it
do,
looks
do
so
you
good.
do you do any custom boxes? Because I'm looking to add two subwoofers to the like 90 degrees on both sides, but I'm limited on space as far as depth. Could is this something that you can build up to get the same volume necessary, the air volume necessary?
Yeah, so especially on our 24, I don't think I have it on the website. Need to put it on there because we have sold a few since then, and our coffee table is based on the shallow 24. Um, and so, yes, we plan to do that with the 18 as well. Um, make it a little more shallow. We wouldn't be able to put a plate amp in the back, but we can have an external amp for these. So yes, we do that. One of the challenges there is these are beefy drivers, and we do have some challenges with depth there. But yeah, we're trying to get near 16 and a half inches on the shallow 18, and our 24 is I think around 17 and a half inches for our shallow 24.
Okay, yeah, because that. So you would tackle some custom boxes and stuff like that if need be.
Mhm.
I like that comment on the 31-inch abyss. I like it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
and
pretty good.
so we have done. Matter of fact, the shallow 24 came from a customer wanting to fit, behind the screen. And so, yeah, we worked with them. We've also done various custom finishes. Customer wants to match cabinets or furniture. I had one gentleman that wanted a blue subwoofer for personal reasons, and I heard the reason. I'm like, yes, I'll do a blue maple gloss sub, and that is still one of my favorites, and part of that's because of the personal story behind it.
So which one do you want to move on to next?
Well, I'd say our next big seller is the Mariana 24. It looks like we've got a. I haven't put up the latest pictures there. Well, that's the cube. So this is a cube, and the new version does have the rounded corners. This one is 28 by 28 by 27 inches deep, and so that's a cube shape. The other the Babinga that we saw at the show is our rectangular shape, and it's similar to that, just different shapes. So, and our 24s, as I mentioned, they're flat to 6 or 7 hertz in room. Um, so, very powerful. We found out Lone Survivor has uh, a synthetic. No, it's not a synthetic. It's a real sound from a helicopter. The Lone Survivor, they recorded a helicopter and included in the movie, but their software, whenever they level out the soundtrack, doesn't go down to 6.5 hertz, and so Lone Survivor has um, a sound in the audio track at 6.7 hertz that's 10 decibels louder than the rest of the soundtrack. Uh, our 24s, we were at a get together, had a pair of them, and all of a sudden they just started jumping. And that's when we found out, oh, there's a signal there that probably shouldn't be there.
A little bit of a boost there.
Yeah,
That would have been wild.
Yeah, I did put our CEA 2010 testing down to 8 hertz, which is definitely not the standard. Um, but our subs are capable, so it is somewhat of a marketing thing.
Yeah, might as well, right?
Yeah, we're going to get CEA 2010. We've got to get them for the latest drivers on the 24, but we've got to work around weather, and testing has to be done below 80 degrees, and it's hard to get that when it's not raining.
So I have another question for you. Do you make any drivers in house, or do you actually outsource for drivers?
Yeah, we use the stereo integrity drivers. So
Okay.
Nick and I, Nick Lemons, who owns Stereo Integrity, um, when I heard his 24, that's one of the reasons I started Deep Sea Sound, and we've come together on improving the drivers with each successive iteration, and we're probably up to the fourth iteration with the carbon fiber cone, and we've got a good relationship right now, so we're leveraging them. He makes some great drivers. They've been really robust. Are the initial 24s? I think our enclosures and the 4,000 watt amplifiers probably put a little more stress on them. So Nick and I worked, and hey, we need to put some extra glue in areas, and so we have a better driver now, and we haven't had any issues out of the driver since that first batch.
Question for you, David. So is it A? And I know the answer because I talked to Kyle. Is this real woven carbon fiber? And B, was that for looks or was that for the added stress that was brought into it?
I would say yes and yes and yes. So it is, actual carbon fiber. Um, you can't look at carbon fiber and not think looks are a part of it. But the stiffness of the carbon fiber as well, definitely improves the driver. I don't think we had any stiffness issues in our previous drivers, but if the idea is, hey, yes, we have to pay attention to money, and so as deep sea sound, when I'm looking at enclosures or making a decision, okay, what's it going to cost? Time, money for whatever material, money for labor. But beyond that, if those two aren't out of whack, we're going to fall on the side of performance. And so, why wouldn't we go to carbon fiber? It gives the looks, it gives better performance, and for a minimal cost upgrade. So, yeah, definitely that was one of the reasons to go to a carbon fiber driver.
So the 24 is a carbon fiber driver also. Is that correct?
Yes, yeah. Just haven't updated the website. That's
Okay.
probably that would fall on me. So I need to make that happen.
Perfect.
Where do the amps? Where do the amps come from? A third party sourced as well.
Yes, they are Speaker Power. Makes those plate amps, and let's see, Power Sound Audio, JTR, Seaton. A lot of companies use those same plate amps. That's the older professional version of the amplifier. They're very beefy. Matter of fact, I've hooked up in my own house that same 4,000 watt amplifier and put it on two subs down to a 1 ohm load, and it worked like that for a year plus when I had it set up that way. So very capable amps, very beefy, and we're using the full 4,000 watts at 4 ohms. They're 2,400 watts, which some companies utilize them at, but my focus was, hey, we want top performance. Let's figure out how we can get a driver that will handle the full 4,000 watts, and so that's part of what we did. And the CEA 2010 results show, I don't know if there's a more powerful sealed 18-inch subwoofer out there. I'd be interested to know if we're not, because we're definitely one of, if not the most powerful sealed 18 on the market.
So where was in the stereo integrity room at M-Wave, did they use your enclosures there?
No, those are Stereo Integrity has some MDF enclosures for their 24s that they have released. Yeah.
Okay.
So real quick, that picture Donnie showed of those two 24s in that room.
Yeah, let me
That
go
was,
back to that.
that was my old room, and I believe, David, correct me if I'm wrong, those are the two original 24s we built, and then took the drivers out of those to put them in the cabinets I have now, if I remember correctly. Yeah. So, but yeah, those were the first two. That was quite a setup. I like that. That's one of my favorite setups I had. Those are Seaton Cat 12s with those two 24s on the second floor. My wife did not like what it did to the master bedroom on the other side, but that was the first time I realized what subwoofers were supposed to sound like. I was like, holy crap. Because I think I came from Sue, I guess you pronounce it, 15s, two of those, and I thought I had endgame subs. So, anyways, that was cool to see those again, but see where they started from.
Yeah, so let's just take a look at the comments real quick to see what we got. Anybody asking questions?
Quickly, let's just give a quick shout out to, I know we got into the whole, but, we got Michael Lawless in the chat, Charlie B, we got Scott. That dude is just leaving La Vida Loca, man. Master Lessons in the chat. Who else we got? I gotta keep scrolling. We got
Black Jack.
Ariel. We got Big Jack in the chat, and he actually has a question, so I'll pull it up on the screen.
Yeah, so we don't offer them without the amp. The amplifier does have a DSP for the OEMs or manufacturers to use, and we do utilize that to maximize our 4,000 watts DSP, the driver to the enclosure, to get us that smooth and flat response. Um, it's plus or minus 0.75 dB, so 3/4 of a decibel uh, from 17 hertz to 100 hertz or over 100 hertz. So, we definitely have a very smooth frequency response. But the part of that is we have control of the driver, the amp, the enclosure. So we do not offer that passive. We just mentioned Stereo Integrity with their 24. They do have some MDF enclosures. That is a passive, so you can just get the driver and the enclosure from them for the 24 without an amp. Good question.
That's great that you're still willing to promote, something that's, something that you guys don't even sell. So that's, speaks a lot about your company and a lot about you yourself too. Joseph, you've been quiet over there. You have any questions for these guys?
I just have a comment about that real quick. I heard some negative comments about DIY at M-Wave. And, my thought process there, number one, I came from DIY and then, decided to start the business. But for M-Wave specifically, without DIY, I don't think that show would exist. It exists because of the DIY. It exists because of the craziness of some of the home theater lovers in Kansas City. So, I came from DIY. That's core to me. So absolutely, I'm gonna support it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joseph,
that's
how
the thing
about any?
the hobby. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Joseph, any questions? You've been kind of quiet over there. I know you were in the
Subwoofers
industry.
Subwoofers are not necessarily new to me. I built a couple when I was in high school. I had 12-inch dual voice coil Orion subs built from, whatever board was available at that time when I was younger. I was shaking my neighbor's doors from, I don't know what kind of amps I was using, but I was 15 when I did that. So I'm familiar with the roots of DIY and subwoofers. And I just managed to get myself SVS subs in the last little while to do like a 2.2 hi-fi review. And they're not 18s, but adding that extra low depth to the music and anything that I'm watching or listening to, it really is incredible to see how much of a difference subs can do. So knowing the tech and looking at the specs that are involved with this, especially aluminum enclosure with the additional density, rigidity, like the power moving forward. I always love sealed subs for that reason. I can imagine exactly what everybody is talking about in like that visceral way. And that's why I'm quiet, because I wasn't there. I didn't get to experience them. I'm kind of soaking it in. And really the only thing that I remember seeing about this brand, I think it was a post about how they were loaded into the cabinet. And you have to be very careful not to chip or break or you know what I mean, like lower this and I'm sure someone remembers. That was the only thing I remember about this brand, and now seeing the way that it's put together and hearing more about it, I'm observing. I love what I'm seeing, and I'm sure that they're very, very capable.
Jeff, you were going to comment before Joseph there.
Oh, I was just going to add, to the point about DIY, like that's the thing about the hobby, that you need that segment, because not everybody has, Grimani room money or, or whatever. And if you do, great. But for the guys that just want to like get into the hobby and know how to do it, DIY is a great way. And I was with David, like the negativity, I was, man, where's it coming from? There's room for it. And that's my whole thing. Like I get I don't know, I get on some of these forums, and when people don't have the speaker you have, or you don't have the subwoofer, it's like it's not good enough. I'm like, it makes somebody happy, and that's what it's all about at the end of the day. So
No,
Look,
welcome to
it had to start.
AVS forums.
It had to start from DIY, right? Do it, or DIY. It had to start from there, or the companies wouldn't be making them now, right? So,
Yep.
I mean, somebody back in the well, I was in the '90s, and I was huge into car audio. Paul was in huge car audio. We were building our boxes and throwing as
Yep.
big as woofers as we can in there with not knowing anything about DSP, right? just wanted the
Yeah.
license plate to vibrate, right? So
We knew about it. It was just too expensive back in the day. I mean,
yeah. So I
electronics.
By
mean,
the way, I also I worked at a car stereo shop in high school, so I was the subwoofer builder back then. I don't think I had any thoughts about starting a subwoofer company, 20 years later, but uh, things go full circle sometimes.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
shoot. These are a piece of cake compared to car boxes.
Yep.
E-,
I'm
Exactly.
sorry. I'm just enjoying seeing the chat talking about all the different names that you can
I
come
know,
up
right?
with, David, for your subwoofers. This is
I was
awesome.
noticing that, yeah.
depth
Mud
charge.
flap edition.
Like
That's
I
funny.
was honestly gonna offer the same thing. Like pretty sure. Like I'm a geek, dude. I can come up with some ocean based names. These guys are awesome. I love it.
Tsunami.
Yeah, you could just name it after a hurricane. You could have the
that
barrels.
that is true. That is very true. So let's go ahead and move on to the Dual 18s.
Yeah, so the Dual 18s is really for those that don't want to step up to a 24 and want more than a single 18, and that can be laid on its side or stood up vertically, just like the rectangular 24 can be horizontal or vertical. But this is a single 4,000 watt amp, driving the two drivers with 2,000 watts each. So you can run that thing all day, and it would never have problems. With that 2,000 watts each. So it's just another option. And we've definitely sold some of those. So that's ultimately what it's about. Hey, if your customer says they need something or want something, um, you try to deliver it if you can. And so um, that may be where it came from, because I don't know when we started that hey, let's just go ahead and offer a dual. But I know we got a couple requests at some point, and so designed and built them.
Yeah, what are the dimensions of that 21 foot? Man, I
41 by
could use one of
21
that.
by 18.
Yeah, I could use one of that under my projector screen, man, in front, just
Yeah,
laying on the
good
side.
luck. You better have some type of vibration isolation.
I know, right?
245
I don't know
pounds.
who's gonna carry it upstairs,
Well,
but
hey, actually,
245
hey,
pounds.
I'd come and help you carry that up. But
245 pounds.
the
Jesus Christ.
the way the front of ours, we've inset the driver some, and I got to tell you, whenever I originally did it, that was for aesthetics, because we originally came out with rectangular squared corners, and we got constantly, do you have anything different? Can you round the corners? Can you round the edges? Can you do this? So we had to come up with something, and we did the rounded corners, and we also did that inset. But what that came up with, because they're inset and that whole front assembly is so strong, is that they really don't vibrate very much. If it was just on the front, the driver was mounted to the front, it would vibrate more. But with that whole assembly brought in some, inset 4 inches, it is a stronger structure that doesn't vibrate as much. So I didn't plan for that. I wish I could say, oh yeah, I knew that was going to happen, but it was primarily for aesthetics that fortunately gave better performance too. So
Got
just
lucky there.
everything else around it vibrates. It won't
Yeah.
vibrate. It's gonna destroy the framework of
Well,
your house, but it's
you
fine.
you remember when Jeff mentioned that his wife didn't like what happened to their room? Well, let's just say she would know when I was over, and Jeff and I got a little loud with the subwoofers because things invariably, Jeff missed them. Things fell in their room and got him and me in trouble.
Yeah, we
Are
didn't
you
realize.
are you playing turkey sounds out of this thing in the field here to attract turkeys?
Well, you got to do CEA 2010 testing in the middle of a field so you don't get any reflections from anything. And so, yeah, that was one of those testing days. I'm pretty sure it was turkey repelling, is what I was doing.
Yeah, because they're running away. They're not coming close to you.
Yeah.
No, I'm
Completely.
just giving you a hard time. I know that was it Mr. Larson from Audioholics? He does the same thing, puts it way out in the field like that, and sometimes even puts it up on a stand off of the ground and everything else like that. I came to your frequently asked questions page because when you go here to the dual subwoofer, it didn't have the measurements in it, and it told me to go there. So I was just curious what the frequency response on the dual 18s are. Do you remember?
Yeah, it's about the same as the 18, just like 3 decibels more.
Yeah, when you stack them, that's about what you normally get is about 3 decibels more.
Yep.
Okay. So let me go back to that. Go back to that 18. Let's see here. So at 8 hertz, you're at 93 dB. And obviously that's without room gain or anything like that too. So probably should easily hit that 6 hertz like
Yep.
you're talking about. So
Oh yeah.
yeah. So
I can already imagine my insides getting rearranged at that volume, that kind of power. That's amazing.
yeah, no, I mean, I'm just wondering if mine's in the mail already yet or not. That's all I'm wondering.
I know, right?
I think
I
we're
need
all
two.
having
I
I need
got
two
your
of those
email.
18s, man.
I still have to respond to it.
I need two of
Thought we
those
all got them
18s.
tonight.
Those
You can
Marianas.
load it in my car.
Um,
Monday. You can meet me in Orlando. I'll be in Orlando next week. So
Yeah. No, so let's see. What else do you got on here? One thing that I did not see on the give me 1 second. I got something playing here. One thing that I did not see on the webpage is that coffee table. I'm going to try to pull that back up here in a second. Let's see here. My deep sea sound. This thing. Okay.
yeah, I
see.
think the Mariana, that's the same one Chris, my home theater, has.
Yeah, I was
he has dual of the Mariana 18s.
So you guys are working with Chris from My Home Theater, correct?
right, yeah. Chris has 2 of the
Yeah,
18s in his
the
room right now.
18s, yeah. I
Yeah,
saw a
if you
couple
guys
of
haven't
videos.
checked out Chris's channel, he's been on our channel before. He's done a couple theater tours with us. Make sure you go over and check him out at My Home Theater and give him a sub. He's been doing some reviews for Deep Sea Sound. I know that he swapped these subwoofers out for he had some Chase Audio subs and he swapped them out for the Deep Sea Sound, reviewing them and has just been blown away by them in his reviews, and we got to hear your subs not this year but last year, correct? In at M-Wave.
At M-Wave, yeah.
Yes, yes, I think they were. He was in the room with Stereo Integrity. I wasn't there, but I do believe that was the case. And I know we are already planning for next year's M Wave. Assuming they're having it, which we know they will. And our goal is to have a full functioning room so we can actually play the subs the way we need to play them. And we're not going to go Grimani level on room build, but we're going to try to set it up, treat it. We just are trying to figure out the speaker end of it since we're not a speaker company. But a couple of the companies we talked to, or I've talked to since M Wave, seem to be receptive to letting us use their speakers because they look at us not really as a threat to their subwoofer business, but more of a potential partner. So that is our goal. We're already working on it because so many people came up to that booth and were like, "Can we hear him? Can we hear him?" Which was great. We had a lot of traffic because of where we were, and people were waiting in line for other demos. So we're hopeful that we'll have a fully functioning room next year, and you'll really be able to hear what these things can do.
I'd love to
So
see it. I was there last year, and I heard that they were in that room, and I heard it, and it was amazing. So I'd love to see it next year. Sorry, Don.
no problem. So in this picture, this may look just like a coffee table, but Dave, if you can talk about this since Jeff had to step out for a second.
Well, I guess Dave stepped out for a second. I'm still here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I apologize. Since Dave stepped out, Jeff, can you talk about this here? I apologize.
Yeah, I could talk about it with as much knowledge as I think I have on it. That that coffee table is actually the same coffee table he built for his dad and pulled it out of his living room before we came to M Wave. And it
Wow.
is a one-off, fully custom piece he did for him. And his dad has a living room theater, wanted something that was discreet, and that sucker does the job. The last year he had a piece of glass underneath it and kind of had it raised so you could see the driver.
Yep.
The glass did not make it to the show. It made it, but it was completely destroyed. So we weren't able to show that again. But and it's kind of it's disappointing because I don't think a lot of people knew what it was. I think people walked up and thought it was like it needed to shift to the left to go into that painting. But it's part of the the decor. But it's a cool piece. We had built end tables before. I had at least one in my old room with 18s in it, and I think that's kind of where that idea came. And I think it's a cool idea for anybody who has a living room theater or doesn't want their subwoofers to be seen. And you build one of these, and you don't even know it's a subwoofer. So
Yeah, I
Right,
think
you
this
just fire
one
it down.
that one has a 24 woofer, right? It's a 24, not the
yeah, it
18s,
is.
right?
It's 24.
Yeah.
Correct.
Is
Yeah,
it
one
is it fired
24 on
down?
that one.
Yeah, it's downward
Yeah,
firing. Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
And
So
David's
can
back, but
you
David, doesn't that run off an external amp? Don't you have that running back to an amp rack?
The
You can
the
hear me or
coffee
not?
table, the table.
Yeah, I believe it does. I don't believe there's an amp on that. I think he's got it run into a rack amp in the back of his dad's living
so
room.
while you're actually watching movies, can you still use it as a coffee table? I would imagine everything would fly
Yeah,
off.
I think you can. I mean, probably to some point, it probably is going to move a little bit. Maybe get you a rubber coaster, right? Like
Yeah, I would be afraid of my beer foaming up.
I know, right?
Like, oh no.
Yeah, no, it
Yeah.
was definitely interesting. We were trying to get footage of the driver with Paul had his selfie stick, and I was providing light, and we were trying to get footage of the driver that was under there, and it was pretty interesting. Pretty interesting build. Looks fantastic too. So, like you said, just could easily pull off that in with the wife acceptance factor.
Yep, that's classic wife factor, and you can paint it almost any color you want. And
Right,
The,
and
the, the
that's one of the things that, like, when I was talking to people who are in the industry coming up, when you look at our subwoofers, we're unique in the way there's not a lot of companies that are going to go with furniture grade finishes with the veneers that are offered, and the inspiration came from the fact that David has a home theater in his living room. So why not make why not make a subwoofer that is good looking as it is high performance, so that fits in and looks like a piece of furniture. I mean, we can make you a black box and stick it behind a screen. That's what I have. That's a lot of people want, but there's plenty of folks that they want a subwoofer that will look good and be a look like a piece of furniture and stuff. And I think that's what really sets us apart from everybody else out there. Because not only do they look good, but they perform well.
Yeah, and the one to the left, right? That's the natural wood, right? I think Dave had mentioned something about the wood
The one
itself
called,
is it's natural, or you know.
yeah, I do not have the answer to that. I'm not 100%
Yeah,
sure.
I'll ask him when he joins. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a beautiful finish.
But yeah, that's the actual wood.
yeah, that's the actual wood. I think you mentioned it. It's just
It is.
polished. It's the same way it came from nature, which is kind of
I remember him saying,
yeah.
mentioning something about a bubinga, and I think that might be the bubinga finish. I used to see them on like drum kits and guitars and stuff like that, more on drum kits than anything, and that kind of looks like that kind of finish, that kind of wood.
Yeah.
I'm double checking on Google now.
I believe you're right. I believe that is what that is. I'm not as up with all the different finishing techniques. He is a that's his specialty, and he's and perfecting the way they look, and adding UV protection to the veneers too. So these subs that are in living rooms with a lot of light, they're not going to fade.
Yeah,
which
this
is
zebra wood is
zebra-
just, I
zebra
mean,
wood.
gorgeous. I mean, it is really, really pretty. I mean, I love the way that looked at the when we were at M Wave. But I mean, even these other finishes are really, really nice too. So
I like the oak. I really like the oak, the one on the far right. That's probably my personal favorite because it's just a little bit. It's not too dark, not too light, and
and that's just a veneer that they're adding onto it. Do you know how thick that veneer is?
David.
Yeah, it's pretty thin, like a 30-second. I mean, the veneering industry has gone for as thin as they can get away with while still having something that you can't see through, I guess is what I would say the industry is done. And, that's the way we get it as well.
And that allows you to do the custom, rounded corners and stuff more easily as opposed to thicker veneers. That would be really difficult.
Yeah, it definitely does. Where we're having issues is for our 24s, and actually for our shallow 24s, we need a little bit longer, but we need 12-foot veneer to go around the 24s, and that is real hard to get. So that has been a challenge. I can get it in maple, walnut, oak, but zebra wood, any of those, Macassar ebony, any of those, getting it past 8 foot, it has been a challenge. But that's oak right there, actually, to match some the clips. I want to say legacy, but that's probably heritage, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, they're a little
Those are the bells, maybe. I don't know clips that well like I used to, but they look like Lascalas, but I think they're
I thought they were Lascalas.
Yeah.
Lascalas. Yep. Thanks.
So just going through some of the gallery here.
Yeah, and those were those match a paradigm. The bookshelves, that's a cherry paradigm, and the customer wanted the subs to match the speakers, so we did, and it turned out great. We that's a tiger maple, so those tiger stripes is a tiger maple veneer. Turned out really nice.
Wow. Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, those
Yeah,
are
and they match almost perfect.
version 2 Studio 40 version 2s.
He's got those speakers turned around the wrong way. They need to be turned into the couch for near field. Looks like you got a white enclosure here, which is nice because I know there are a lot of people that enjoy the white enclosures for their living areas.
Yep. Out again to match speakers.
Wow.
Now that one is, if you go back the one, that was for a doctor up in Indianapolis, and he wanted, to max this out. I think so. Those are the dual 18s, but I believe each of those is getting 4,000 watts. So that's actually 2 channels on the left, 2 channels on the right. So, and then those are the in riser subs. So those fit down in the floor. And I think one of the other pictures showed a metal grate over the top. So that's let's see, 24,000 watts right there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why?
That was a really nice theater. Really nice.
Wow. Isn't
why?
David? Isn't one of those have the 420? Is that the one with the 424s? That one right there.
No. That gentleman is in North Carolina. That's got the only customer that's ever ordered 424s from me is in North Carolina. I think he commonly shows up on the Richter scale out there.
Are these 224s?
Yes.
I mean, it's bigger than the TV.
Yeah, I know.
You have issues when the subwoofers are bigger than the TV.
Yeah, that blows my mind. You have in-wall left and rights, but you have giant subwoofers on the floor. Like one,
Hey, he had to fit it in there somewhere.
I didn't even notice the in walls.
You know what you like, I guess.
You know what the next upgrade that room needs? That room really screams 100, like 100-inch LCD or something.
Ultra short
TV.
throw or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I
this
think
room's nice.
this is the room with the 424s, actually.
It is. This is the guy who has all JTR now, all the way around 215s, I think, and for every channel on his.
That's
bed
awesome.
there. Something like that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That's what you call overkill, but good overkill. That's my room.
So,
Okay, so that's my room.
So he went with
After
JTR speakers, but not their subwoofers.
Yeah.
That's saying something.
Mm.
Not that by any means JTR are slouches. I'm just putting that out there.
Definitely not.
They're very, very well made speakers and subwoofers. But when somebody else chooses to go a different
Jeff,
route.
were you saying that was your room, the previous picture? Or
Yeah. So
can you go back to them?
That was the picture the realtor took when we sold that house. So David actually helped me build that screen wall. I wish I had a picture behind it, but that has the dual 24s and a custom cabinet to allow for like maximizing that space when I went to an AT screen. And then, but that was the last iteration in that room. And before we moved to the house I'm in right now. But David, he helped me build all that, man. We were up till like 4 a.m. finishing that room. It was crazy.
Just one day?
No. we had all the time in the
hire
world.
You guys.
I know.
What was funny is we had all the time in the world, and then it was Chad's coming to calibrate at 10 a.m. and Sunday night we realized we had about 8 hours of work to do before he came, so we were scrambling to get it done. That one's cool. That was an ABS room of the month, wasn't it? Out in Utah or something like that.
Yes.
Yep.
That one had 418s with 16,000 watts.
Are they under the screen up here?
2 of them are up front, and 2 are the in riser subs that are built into the floor in the back.
Wow. So what about calibration? Do you guys, once, if let's just say that we decide to purchase, do you offer any, in-room calibration or integration with your current setup, or how does that work?
We don't. Part of that's because it's hard to keep up with the number of receivers and the different capabilities. But we have worked with several calibrators. Used to be more in person, but now everything's shifting to remote calibration. So that's sort of what we share with a customer. If I drop them off and if they're not too far away from Knoxville, Tennessee, like we just got an order south of Indianapolis, and so I'll probably take those up there and help him level set them. But as far as calibration, I just don't do enough of that DSP and the receivers and all of that to keep up and do the best job possible. I probably could have done that 4 or 5 years ago. So that's why, hey, let's get an expert. They're better than me at that at this point.
Understand?
Yeah, and I've been friends and have worked with Chad B for 20 years, and the guy's never done my room wrong. So if we've got a room or we've got subs in an area, and he's going to be there, we try to hook them up because outside of like a Trinov, which he even tells us he can't handle, but anything below that, he's a whiz, man. So we try to make sure our customers get somebody when they get to that point that can really dial these suckers in.
Yeah, but I will say Jeff had to train Chad. It was more mid bass, not enough mid bass. We need more mid bass. We need more mid. Yeah, what was that scene in the Denzel movie, Jeff, that we liked?
Book of Eli with the Gatling gun.
Yes. Yeah, he's
That
like, if
that
I
scene,
can't
yeah.
feel my heart pound, like jumping in my chest, it's not enough. And so
Wow.
the last time he did it, it was most definitely enough, and it was pretty darn glorious.
So these prices here, are these shipped, or is there additional cost because you're looking at a lot of weight here for these?
Good question. Yeah, that is not shipped. So we do freight shipment. We have to. There's no choice there. And lift gate service. So they drop it onto the driveway and then are supposed to put it in a garage. But that is an extra charge, and unfortunately, that has gone up in the past 2 years, 3 years since COVID. Um, Things have doubled, especially out to California. It's a lot more expensive. The
Yeah.
last time I shipped a pair of 18s to California, um, south of San Jose, was about $1,400.
Whew.
I want to say,
Oh my
Oh
goodness.
wow.
Wow.
yeah,
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 and we're trying with my full time job. We're trying to partner up with some of the companies we use. We just don't have the volume yet, but
Mhm.
we're getting there to where we'll be able to get those costs down. Just don't know when.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just curious about that, and obviously, don't try to lift these things up by yourself. I mean, that Dual
Yeah.
18 is 245 pounds. Could you imagine trying to?
Yeah. The Mariana 18 is 180 pounds shipping weight and 145 pounds. Wow.
I actually
Yeah.
was on the phone with a customer today. He just got a pair of them, and he called me. How heavy are these, and how am I supposed to get the sub? Because I boxed them and we box and stack them. Because if you put them horizontally, freight companies have a habit. Oh, it's a flat surface. Let me put something else on top.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Um, so we keep it slender stacked. But he was like, how heavy are these, and are my friend and I going to be able to lift this one off of it? I told him, I think you're making a bigger deal. Just you don't have to lift them. you just don't have to. You just don't let them drop. He and his friend neighbor did get them off, and I asked him. I'm like, well, was it as bad as you thought? He's like, no, you were right. It wasn't that bad, but it still
Yeah.
is, like you say, 180 pounds in the box.
Yeah, so one of my friends, he's been on the show several times. John Anthony, he's been on the show several times, and he actually, I made the suggestion to him because he ordered some really heavy speakers. I forgot what he ordered, but anyway, I made the suggestion to him to reach out to U-Haul, because on the U-Haul website you can hire movers for fairly cheap for like an hour or so. And they'll actually move stuff for you. I think it costs them like $100 to have somebody move heavy subwoofers up on a second level. So, I mean, it's an option for you. So,
It was funny because when the 24s, we actually brought the cabinet up and then brought the driver up and assembled them upstairs because that room was on the second floor. And but when I went to move, we hired movers, and I was like, I gotta get my popcorn. I can't wait to see these guys try to get these things out and up the steps. But I'll tell you what, you can tell they were pros, man. They had the strap system,
Oh yeah.
and up the steps they had two guys carrying them, and then they had a third guy behind the guy in the back holding his back up. So as he was walking up the steps, because I mean it was hilarious. And I'll tell you what, they weren't damaged, so they're definitely never leaving up here unless I hire somebody to move them out. Because yeah, these suckers are heavy.
yeah. So I was looking here. Is this the picture from the first M Wave?
Yeah, it looks
Yes.
like it. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
pretty cool.
So those towers, well, those were stereo integrity towers, also, right? I think they're trying to work on getting those produced.
Man, they need to do that, man. These things look good.
Yeah.
No, that was Kyle Bliss's setup, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it looks familiar.
Yeah, so he
This might
brought
be DIY
the
sound good.
projector, speakers, subwoofer, receiver.
Okay. But
Yeah, I
those
believe
are
those
your
DIY
subs, though, right?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we had the two 24s there and the two 18s, and then stereo integrity. Those are Kyle's 24s up there, and then there were, I think, 4 more 24s in the back last year, and we sort of took turns playing. Even with them playing their setup or us playing ours, even a pair of 24s, we had drywall dust coming down from the ceiling. The room couldn't take it, which is one of the reasons I decided we're not even going to play. We can't. People will not get the sense of how the quality of sound of our subwoofers playing, because all we're going to hear is the room rattling and shaking and making noise and dropping dust.
All right, so let's talk about the warranty on these. Is this for every one of them? You have a 5-year warranty.
Yes. Yep. So 5-year warranty. Everything: enclosure, driver, amplifier. Yeah. Fortunately, we really don't have to use that. We've had, early on we had some issues with the 24s. We got that taken care of for each of our customers. Stereo integrity, built them a little beefier, more epoxy in certain locations, and no problems since then. Over the past 8 years, I think we've had 2 amplifiers that have had need of warranty work, and that's been taken care of. So fortunately, we haven't needed to deal with this. Which is important as a small company. You know, Even though our subs are not inexpensive, there's not a ton of profit in there. So we can't have warranty work, or we wouldn't be able to stay in business.
One thing that I'm reading here, I just highlighted. It says Deep Sea Sound will pay for shipping, the replacement driver as well as return shipping. So that's great, actually. Especially with what we just talked about. Shipping costs. So
Yes.
that also says a lot about you and your company. Just wanting to, if something does go wrong, because I would imagine the driver alone is probably 100, maybe 80 to 100 pounds, something like that.
It's 85, and then which box and foam and all that, it's probably 95 pounds easy for the 18, and over 100 pounds for the 24. So yes, not cheap to ship those. But again, that's why fortunately, quality drivers, we don't have warranty issues, because frankly, we can't.
So, quick question: what's the price on this guy?
Oh, that one is about $10,000 for the coffee table, um, and that's the 24 down firing coffee table, um, and that one has an external amp, but we could also put an internal amp underneath. But I would expect most people would want an external amp, so that they only have to run one cord. If put the amp in the table as well, then you've also got to run power to it as well. So
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Have you tried to hook this up like wirelessly? I can't even say it. Wirelessly. To where I think like SVS, they have a wireless transmitter.
Wireless transmitter. Yep.
Yeah.
well, I mean, think about that. So if we were to do wireless, you've still got to hook up power to the amplifier.
Yep.
So even if the audio signal was wireless, you're still running a power cable there. Because it's one thing to do it with some speakers, especially lower powered speakers. I don't think you're doing that with a 4,000 watts. So
Yeah.
you'd have to put power to it regardless. So you either pick your poison, put power to it, or put a signal cable to it. One or the other.
Yeah. Paul, you got any questions? I know you spent a ton of time with these guys at the show. I mean, just fantastic guys to hang out with too at the show.
Yeah, they were fun to hang out with. They were cool guys. Yeah,
Yeah, you were hilarious too, especially when you were waiting for the Grimaldi room and hung out. That was fun.
yep. I just go, like you said, mostly to have fun and hang out with people. I mean, I like these. I love the looks of them. They're amazing. And yeah, the coffee table. I didn't hear about the mirror breaking, but I was curious. I was like, why didn't they set that up that like they did last time? Because that made that speaker pop, and everybody came up and looked at it, and they were like, oh, whoa. So,
Yes, that was. I blamed it on a guy that wasn't there, but yeah, really, it was me. I got it out of the van in one piece. By the time I got over to the conference center, it was not in one piece, and I didn't do anything more than put it off to the side.
yep. Understandably, that was a big piece of glass showing that off. So
Yep.
yeah, I wouldn't have messed with it either. So
Yeah.
but
Fortunately,
yeah.
it was fully taped up and enclosed within a box. Otherwise, that could have been dangerous.
Oh yeah. Gosh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fortunately, it was no one was hurt. But yeah. Except by the sound of the subwoofers themselves. Last year, like you said, people were
Well,
Getting
the other thing is, Stereo Integrity brought 8 of their 24s. So I was, wow, that'll be hard to compete with. JTR went crazy with 8 of their Captivator 4000s, um, plus their tower speakers, 212 HTs. So, yeah, there was some horsepower there at that show. A lot of fun, a lot of the rooms, Ascendo,
so
Grimaldi. Yeah, there were
yeah.
some
So
amazing rooms.
so next year you're like, okay, I'm not gonna pull any punches. I'm bringing all the all the big ones.
I haven't. Yeah, we're still on the fence. We've actually run the thought of we can't show off our subwoofers effectively at any show. How can we do that? And we've thought about building a room, in the conference center. Basically assembling pieces, bolting them together to have a room that will better handle the sound. We're
Yeah, that makes
still mulling that one over if that's doable. But I mean, even the convention rooms, they're making a lot of noise. Hotel rooms would be out, so
Yeah.
like Axpona or something like that. We
We'll
pissed
figure
off a
something
lot
out.
of people when we presented there one year.
Yeah, I think they
yeah.
want you to keep it less than 90 dB when you're in those hotel rooms.
Oh,
Yep.
we went to the show out in Newport in 2014 or something like that, right when we got started, and we pissed off a lot of people. JL Audio didn't like us. We had JTR 212s playing the same loop of like Tron and whatever demos were big in 2012,
Wow.
and we were shaking. Yeah, we had a lot of people come up and say, "Hey, could you turn that down a little bit?" We're like, "Okay, it's not even turned up, but whatever. Go listen to your." They were a little worried because they couldn't hear the $800,000 pair of speakers they were listening to, which um, it was just funny though. But I think we'll figure out something. David. I was telling him when you were logging back in that I've been talking with some of the folks that we met and trying to work out some logistics so we can make it happen for next year with partners and stuff. So
Yeah, no, it was definitely a delight. Chatting with you guys there at the show. Definitely. I heard I went to M Wave 2023, so I actually got to hear the subwoofers there. Was very impressed with them.
Yep.
You know, and if you're using the stereo integrity carbon fiber driver, we pretty much, other than your enclosure, we got to hear. Obviously, your enclosure may do a little bit better than what theirs did with the quality that you got. I can't speak to it because I don't know what the quality that they build them at. But so it's a sound driver. It's actually the driver that I was looking to add to my for my side subwoofers. So I was planning on building like a box or something like that. So maybe
You
reaching
should
out
get
to you to.
the riser ones that go inside the riser. You build the
Yeah,
riser.
yeah, that is true. I could get a couple that'll go right in the back of the riser. So,
Yeah, that
but
would
yeah,
be cool.
yeah. So were they like open? I mean, I know they were in the riser, but was that like a just it was just using the entire airspace of the driver when you got of the riser?
No, it had an enclosure
Okay,
in it, and it sort of dropped in, and they put plywood on top of that, and then put a steel grate over where the driver itself was.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are welcome to hang out if you want to, or Jeff, we got to get you on here one day to give us a tour of your theater, man.
Yep.
oh man, yeah, I'd love to. Yeah, just let me
Yeah,
know. I got to get it cleaned up a little bit and get the screen down so we can see what's behind it. But yeah, we'll make that happen.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but you guys are welcome to stay on here. How can they reach you guys? How can they get a hold of you? What's your socials and all that stuff?
Yeah, David's social is 462. Oh, we're not doing this.
uh,
And he's supposed to be my social media guy. Oh man.
That was a good one. But yes, but how can people contact you and, reach out to you
Yeah,
if they're interested?
yeah, the website is deepseasound.com. My email address is davidgage@deepseasound.com, or we'll both get sales at deepseasound.com. Um, and he's Jeff Robeson at deepseasound.com, but people probably spell his name wrong because it's not Robinson, it's Robeson without the N, the first N. So, yeah, appreciate that, putting it out there. And then, yeah, as far as sales, um, it's normally through email because of looking at freight. We're trying to get the freight company set up on the website. We've had some technical challenges there. Hopefully, we can get that taken care of pretty soon so that our website takes the orders. But I also like to make sure and talk with people and let them answer or ask any questions they have with such a big purchase. So yeah, everything's usually handled through email or getting on the phone. Like I say, the customer that received the subs today, he gave me a call at 7 o'clock, and I'm going to take calls in the evenings or on the weekends because as busy as we all are with day jobs often, how many people get to, oh, I get to work on my home theater Monday through Friday 8 to 5. No, they're often working on them on a weekend. So I'm like, give me a call, if you need to, if you're working on it, let's get it taken care of.
Yeah, that's great. That's great customer service. Really like the warranty that comes along with these products. Really like the aesthetics of them too. I mean, just beautiful subwoofers. So once again, if you guys like to purchase Deep Sea Sound, go ahead and reach out. Like they said, you guys are more than welcome to hang out if you want. I think we're going to move to the news of the
The
week
breaking news is of the week, right?
to the breaking news of the week.
I know
Breaking news of
Jeremy
the
has been waiting
week.
for that.
What's that?
To the breaking news
I was
is
hoping that's what it was.
Yeah, listening to the Kaleidescape guys at M-Wave, and they're like hitting at this. They're like, "Don't say anything," and we're like, "Ugh, let's get it out there."
Yeah, so we have the Strato V movie player announcement. If you guys haven't seen Jeremy Techthusiasm's live stream, he did a live stream last night and was answering a bunch of questions, and I was in the chat, trying to answer some questions too. Jeremy is a dealer for Kaleidescape along with myself, so make sure that you're ordering through one of us or somebody else. Don't go to Best Buy. Not that I have anything against Best Buy other than the fact that they got rid of all their physical media. But order something from
That is
from.
true.
So, but yeah, so Jeremy had a very nice discussion with people chatting and everything else, answering questions on his channel yesterday. So I'm glad that he reached out and wanted to talk about this a little bit more tonight. So I actually attended a dealer webinar today about the Strato V. Jeremy, did you get a chance to attend that today?
No, the times didn't hit when I could do it, but I'm hoping to either hit one of the other sessions or there should be hopefully a recording or something.
Yeah, so I'm going to be able to pull up, some frequently asked questions which I think covered a lot. It really did cover a lot from them. Also, we're going to be able to pull up a comparison chart One thing I will, I did order one of these, so it's I actually got confirmation on shipping today.
Yep. Yeah, they
One
shipped today.
thing, yours shipped today also.
Yeah,
Very
the
good.
orders that I had from Tuesday starting, everything everything I had pending, all went to shipping today.
Okay. So one thing that during this dealer webinar that I just want to bring up, because I'm not sure if people know or not, but I was I ordered this thinking that it would work in conjunction with my Strato S, because I have a
Mhm.
Strato S, and found out today that unfortunately it will not pull the movies from the Strato S. It will still work, right? Which is, I'll just have to download it to this particular player, and then if I want
Yeah.
to download it, I would also have to download the movie to my Strato S, which is perfectly fine. The great news is that if I decide to purchase a server, the Strato V will then see all the movies from the Strato S and the server from the Prime server. So,
Oh.
nothing real negatively there. And one other thing that I also learned today is that in order to purchase movies with the Strato V, if this is your only standalone player, you don't have a server, is that it does not support the store yet. I
Yeah.
think that is something that would be coming along, from what I was hearing. But yeah, it's so you would just, which is no big deal because you can order it right from your phone. I mean, the app is very very easy to use. I'm pulling up my Kaleidescape app now.
Yeah, the app
So
is so good.
I mean, you just literally just press and put your fingerprint, and you got it purchased. So it's not a big deal. Most of my purchasing comes from the app anyway. I think I've maybe rented one movie, while going through the store. The most
Mhm.
most of my other movies have always been advance purchased, and that's because I do have the Strato S, and it takes a little bit longer to download. So, Jeremy, just give a high level overview of your thoughts on the Strato V.
Yeah, to back up what you were saying too, it's cool that they hit some of that stuff in the webinar, because there's definitely been a couple of edge case logistics that have come out. I want to make some content about that coming up. I'm kind of collecting a list of if this then that elements of integration. There's a couple other things to be wise about, but I think they hit a pretty strong home run here. Um, and the fact that we haven't had an all-in-one player in the Kaleidescape ecosystem for some years now, since the discontinuation of the Strato S. The fact that the standalone downloads movies in 10 minutes makes it kind of transformational. People have been asking about Dolby Vision for a long time. Basically, I think people have been wanting a Kaleidescape that fits more of a living room flat panel style home theater setup. And there's been a lot of demand and request and conversation about that I've seen over the years. I've only been a dealer for a very short time, but I've been talking about the platform for the whole 3+ years that I've had the channel. I've been an owner for 6 or 7 years, and long been a fan of it. So I think this is going to bring a lot of people in. Dropping the entry level price point down from 9,000 MSRP to 4,000. I think opens it up to a lot more systems as well.
Yeah, and which is kind of also why I found the discourse about it on social media a little bit more interesting because I figured, I think, they've managed to give 80 to 90% of what a lot of people have been asking for.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just interesting to see the discourse, right? Because it was still not good enough for a lot of people.
Yeah,
Yes, I
yeah,
think one can still
Yeah,
debate
yeah,
that, with 4 grand, you could probably just give us maybe 2 gigs, 2 terabytes versus, the same size of a PlayStation 5, the 1 terabyte. But it was just interesting because I was like, look, they already give you what most people were asking for, Dolby Vision, the latest, I guess, codecs or whatever, and
I've been eyeballing this thing.
it's the same. It's this. Most people have amplifiers that cost more than this. Well,
Yeah.
I
Yep.
mean,
There's a
Jeff,
lot
you
of
said you've been
components.
eyeballing it.
I mean, I've been on the fence for Kaleidescape for years. I've watched Jeremy. I've watched your videos on it, and I mean, multiple times, and just I see it, and I'm like, I want it, but then it's the price, and then when I heard the chatter at M Wave about, hey, just hold tight, there's a game changer coming. I've been kind of budgeting for my next big home theater edition to be Kaleidescape, and now it comes out this price point, and it's like, all right, I'm almost there. And
yep.
if it's a need for me where if this trends continue in the theater where movies are going to be available, like great example, the new Kevin Costner movie, would that come out 2 weeks ago in the theater? It was on Kaleidescape this week. I mean,
Horizon. Yep. Already on
yeah,
there for purchase.
yeah. I mean, for my wife and I to be able to sit down and watch that movie or any new release, I mean that's a good investment in my opinion. And for that amount of money, if you're a enthusiast, I mean in my opinion, and I'm not going to judge anybody else's, it's a no
Yeah.
brainer at 4K. Because for a guy like me, I'm happy with only having a handful of movies. I don't need a whole library. I'm still collecting physical media. I have a couple thousand movies behind me. So, I mean, if I'm Kaleidescape right now, I'm ecstatic and hoping I can keep these things on the shelves for people to purchase. So I think it's a great deal.
So prior to meeting John Anthony, I'm going to blame him for this. I wasn't a big movie collector. I was always a one and done type of movie guy, right? You had your classics that you would go back and watch whenever they were on HBO or whatever that you just couldn't pass, or whatever, right? But I was always a one and done type of guy. So this player, if you don't rewatch movies over and over and over again, this is a fantastic addition to anybody's home. Now, you don't have to have a home theater.
Yeah.
They actually make a wall rack mount for this that you can place it right behind the TV on the wall. Stays out of the way. You don't see it, and there's a rental system with Kaleidescape. I think it's $8 a rental, and this is perfect for that. You rent the movie. Once you watch it, I think you get it for 48 hours. And then even if you don't if you don't delete the movie, it will automatically delete it for you. So after you watch it, you get 48 hours to watch it, and then the system would delete the movie off of your Kaleidescape prior. Well,
Right.
now this system will, even if you purchase the movie, it will actually delete it off your system to make room for upcoming movies that you're going to purchase. Or if you save it in your favorites, it will not delete it after a certain amount of time. So it's, it really is for that user that's not looking to collect a lot of movies, right? Just for the standalone box. Now,
Yep.
if you want to, you can bundle this together with a Strato server. Right, so a Terra Prime or whatever, and that'll give you what that will do is it will actually shut off the 960 gigabyte in the actual player, and then it will pull kind of like the Strato C does, but with Dolby Vision, it will pull from the actual Terra server. So I was a little confused with that at first, and I was trying to wonder why it did that. But I can understand that it's tough to pull from two areas. And then once I got into this dealer webinar, I kind of figured out a little bit more why, and it's because it doesn't support the CoStar. Now the CoStar allows you to play from older players, and it helps do HDMI switching and everything else like that between players, because there's older players, the disc vault, there is altos that have storage on them that just it's standard definition, or high definition movies, not 4K or anything like that allows you to store it on them. And I think it's a 4 and a 6 terabyte. So I was thinking that, okay, I'm going to gain an extra terabyte, other than what I already have. But unfortunately, that's not the case because of the way the ecosystem works. But I mean, look, I've always advocated that Kaleidescape is not my movie storage solution, right? I use a Zapedi or the Arvolution for my storage. The Kaleidescape for me has always been a demo or the most upcoming movies that that just came out that I can't wait to watch. I can't
Yeah.
wait to rip, or a demo player. Being a dealer, this little device is fantastic. I mean, you can take it with you. You put 10 movies on it. You take it to your customer's house and you let them watch it. You don't need the internet. You don't need anything else. You just need to hook up the HDMI and the power, and that's it.
Yeah.
So it's a fantastic solution for that.
Yeah, and for me, it's like if you're already into the whole collecting, movies, and you're already ripping, and you have your NAS storage and all of that, and you're actively doing that, then it might not necessarily be for you. But if you are trying to start, doing all of that, and then you got to go buy like an 8 terabyte NAS, and then you got to buy the drives, and then you need to start collecting the disc and ripping all that. If you want to do that, then you know you might want to consider this versus starting and building your entire collection, because it's going to take you years to get to what you want to get to.
Oh yeah.
you
I
know
think we were
so
we were
yeah, so it's like, and I mean, I think this is going to fly off the shelf. And yes, there's going to be people who I wanted it to have 2 terabytes, just because I felt like the interface would be a lot better than just having 10 movies. Because I think part of the appeal for the Kaleidescape is also that wall. That thing just
Right.
feels different. Because I have one here that was sent to me for review, not the new one, but an older one, and yes, it just feels different. I have the Evolution and everything, and the Evolution looks great.
And
But
as you do,
yeah, the Zedu also, and Dune has a new solo, but we'll talk about it later. It just came out, and I should be getting one for review next week or so. But the Kaleidescape wall just, it feels different. So I feel
yeah.
like even if I get the V, which I probably will end up getting it, if I get the V, I still feel like if I turn it on, I'm just not going to get that appeal of staring at that wall
yeah. So
until
just
they
for
make
people that
that
don't know,
change.
there's a different setup,
Yeah.
for the V, and that's
Oh,
because So the Kaleidescape, the C and the Terra server, once you have above a certain number of movies, it'll shuffle through all your movies. Well, the Strato V only has the capability for 10 movies. So they put it in like a list form rather than the shuffle, the movie form. So, and it also has like favorites, recently played, stuff like that, and kind of like a list across the bot, or each row, kind of like, I guess, kind of like categorizing
strips.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, I
think
think, yeah. Go on.
I was gonna say one of the elements for me is I've never had in all of my Kaleidescape systems, I've never had enough storage to hold all my movies. So I've always been a cycler, but I have a pretty large library. I bought a lot of sets. I bought a lot of things on sale, and I was kind of lucky enough. My timing into the platform years back happened to be just before Ultraviolet failed, and so I actually kind of came in with a pretty big collection of movies porting in. So I've always been a movie cycler and existed in the platform with far more owned content in my account than I've been able to keep stored locally. And I think it's a completely viable way to use it. And when you've got 10 minute downloads, even whether you own something or not,
Yep.
the kicker is you're 10 minutes away from watching any piece of content in the store. Whether you own it, decide to buy it in that moment, or you already own it and you just decide to re-download it, that's enough time to more than enough time just to get ready to watch the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you pair this to a Terra Prime, with the let's say you get the 8 TB Terra Prime that with the SSDs in it. I mean, you're looking at 4 to 5 minutes to download something. That's got the 2.5 gigahertz Ethernet jack, right? So it's a little bit faster than that. And that was one thing that I wish that they would have went ahead and put it in here. But you did make a good point on your stream yesterday. You don't know if the processing power inside of this machine can actually handle that amount of data coming in. So
I mean, it's a newer chipset, right? Because it's a HDMI 2.1 compliant device. They should be able to.
So let's go ahead and go through some of the comparisons. You guys have any questions so far? We got somebody asked about the warranty on the drive. For the Kaleidescape, they offer a 5-year warranty also. They used to offer a 3 with a 2-year extension, but they just upped everything to a 5 a couple years back to 5-year warranty.
Yeah, and for you guys that are dealers, you got a question here, so I'll let you guys respond to that. But I'm pretty sure you can get. I'm sure you can get some type of dealer discount. Just reach out to Jeremy, and Jeremy, if you put your email, I can pop it up. If you put it in the our internal chat here, and and Don also is a dealer, so I'm sure you guys can work something out with them.
Yeah, you gotta get those pre-Santa Claus prices.
I like the coffee maker trend off Kaleidescape. I want one of those.
Yeah, we didn't mention the price. So at this, I know there's been a lot of coverage already on this, but at this. This is at $39.95 MSRP. Kaleidescape likes the 5s and all their prices. It's like Walmart, right? They like all the 8s. But yeah, so we can go ahead. Yeah, so we can go through some of these. Let's see some of the comparisons on here. One of the things, like I said, that it doesn't support a CoStar. So if you have an older system, the Strato C, which I had asked you a question yesterday, Jeremy, because when looking at the bundles, it looked like the Strato V was now the go-to, right?
Yeah.
So, but after going on this webinar, they had questions and answers as to far as when do you get a Strato V versus getting a Strato C. So, that's something that we as dealers just have to know. We have to know your system. We have to know what you have running behind it. And there is actually a great tool that they have that when we pull up your account, it'll tell us what's compatible with your system and everything else like that. So we can't make a mistake and get you something that will not work. So, with the old Strato S, we're looking at 45-minute download times. Now we're looking at 10 minutes. As I said, with the Strato C and the Prime server, even with the Strato V and the Prime server, it will download everything to the Prime server. So you're looking at 4 to 8 minutes for a 4K movie, which I've always said this. You can't rip a movie that fast.
No.
I cannot rip my movies. It takes me about 40 minutes to rip a 60 to 80 gig, 4K.
Yeah,
And that's
I've
just
been
copy
ripping a bunch
time.
of
That's not
movies
even
today, right? And I had to get on the call with you. Something like, I'm getting this error, I'm getting that error. I'm like, oh man, can I just go turn on the Kaleidescape and go?
Exactly.
You gotta get the subtitles right. You gotta. Yep. There's more. There's a lot more.
Yeah. See, I rip it. I rip it as a BDMV, so I don't do all that stuff. I just rip it as the full disc.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
I just press the folder button and that's it. So, all right. So, let's see. One thing that I did find pretty good, pretty awesome about this machine is if you're hooking it up directly to a TV or an older system, it does have lossless decoding, so which is really good. So you can hook it up to an older system to be able to do it'll do the decoding for you rather than your processor.
Yeah, I think that's huge. I hadn't even really thought about that as a feature much, but I've got an 83-inch LG OLED right through that black hole behind me into my living room there. And the way I run my stuff, I run all my HDMI sources into that television, and then I go optical out to my Anthem STR preamp for the 2.2 channel audio setup. So I rely on the TV to actually decode. So the TV, the LG will decode Dolby Atmos, it'll decode Dolby to PCM, lossless decoding. But the LG, this generation anyway, I think up until just the G4, I believe, isn't it, or maybe the 3, didn't support DTS. And so there's literally, if I ran my Strato C into that TV and tried to play some movies in the K ecosystem, I get no sound because the movie may only have a DTS codec soundtrack. So again, I think it speaks to the idea that this is a really great, they thought about the use cases of the living room setup, and not only just the home multi-channel full set home theater setup. So
yeah, absolutely. Good news is you can hook up your optical drive to it and still do the disc to digital program that they have. Those that are not familiar with the disc to digital program, what you do is you actually just pop the disc in. It puts, first of all, you hook it to the USB port in the back. It'll put it in a scan, put the device in a scanning mode, and it will then catalog your discs that you have. And then you go to the movie store, and they, a lot of times, not all the time, they offer you a discount on the movies, and they could be as cheap as $4, to go from a Blu-ray to a 4K title. So that's fantastic that they continue to support that without a server, right? So you'd be able to hook up that right to wherever your device is and catalog your entire movies. One thing it supports, same thing as the prior, where you ended off on the movies. So yeah, I mean, just a lot of new stuff to take in. I will say that there's also they announced some changes to the remote today on the dealer page. Some of the buttons have gotten some better function to them. So let me see here, see if I can share this. So the left and right arrows will actually allow you to rewind during playback, so you don't have to stop, rewind, or choose different chapters and stuff like that. So you should be able just to scroll back and forth and see where you're at. Some of the up arrows have status menus to where you can get to the subtitles and stuff like that now, and the down arrow to close that menu. So, and then also they made some changes to the store too. Let's see if I can find. So they just did some better cataloging in the actual store.
That remote change is interesting. It's a little more like Apple TV-esque.
Yeah. Yep.
You can be able to run it with your thumb on the pad without having to move around. Interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's the one thing I found interesting was the remote, but I didn't want to talk about it so that Kaleidescape lovers don't come at me because it's like, yeah, some of you guys can be, but I was like, man, the remote just feels a little bit complicated to use, right? But I think this change, especially with pausing and playing, I think that's a really welcome improvement.
Yeah.
So before I'll go ahead and just pause here. Anybody on the panel have any questions or any comments?
Jeff is like, where can I get one?
Yeah,
Bring
yeah,
it over.
pretty much.
Uh,
I
go on, go on.
Yeah, I was gonna say the one thing that I thought was kind of cool about, and this may be how Kaleidescape's done it for a while, but I didn't realize that if you have a projection system and you're struggling for nits, so you could actually watch a version of the movie that isn't truly HDR. It's more the
Hmm.
the SDR Rec 709 profile. That a lot of us did in the early days of 4K that help boost the brightness. And the guy showed that to me at when we were at M Wave, and the difference was actually pretty close. I mean, it wasn't that big of a difference. I mean, that's just another added feature, something you don't necessarily going to get if you buy, the physical media copy of
Yeah,
it. So,
you get to choose the color space when you download, which is with the Dolby Vision change is an important distinction because you need to
yep.
select: do you want Dolby Vision? Do you want HDR10? But yeah, doing I think it's BT 2020 SDR if you download just the 4K. So you're getting expanded color space, but you're not getting HDR if you don't have the setup to really make the value out of it. There's some interesting logistics too with I think the Dolby Vision that came to light.
And you can
Whereas,
can you change
sorry, go.
the can you change the format of the download? Like if you're you upgrade your TV, let's say, and you downloaded like a lower color space. If you re-download it, can you download it in the like Dolby Vision?
Yep, yeah. Whatever you have, like a lot of us, right? We have these servers and stuff already. We already have stuff downloaded to them. So I've got a 12 terabyte Tera with a bunch of HDR10 movies on it, and when I get a V and I get it hooked up in the living room there, I'm gonna have to delete and re-download to kind of switch the download over to the Dolby Vision version. But it's really easy to do in the store in the app. When you go to download your movie, you get a selection specifically of like what do you want to download as, and it'll make a default selection that's like best for your system. But I'm gonna need to get actually. I'm gonna need. My plan was to step up to having a Kaleidescape in both zones. Right now, I have just the one zone in the theater, and I kind of do a zone 2 out of my Anthem AVM to kind of share it to the living room for the cases when I want to access it there. But there's a little bit of an edge case, I think, where if I put a V in the living room and now I want to download the Dolby Vision version of the movies, the C in the theater playing to an HDR10 projector can't play the HDR10 out of the Dolby Vision. Did they talk about this in the webinar at all, Don? Because I think this is a really important one for folks that have maybe been in the ecosystem with Kaleidescapes in their theaters and may just think that they want to add a V for the living room Dolby Vision TV, because you end up
Yeah, I think
having
they
to
addressed some of this
download.
down here in the video, some of the questions. But yeah, they did speak about obviously the Strato C doesn't support Dolby Vision, so the Strato
Right.
C would have to play your HDR10, and neither player plays HDR10 plus yet, right?
Right.
So so what would happen is you would have to download it, a separate version, I think, to play it off of
Right.
one machine, to where
Yeah. So
you can go back and forth to it.
yeah. So I think a lot of folks that might be adding Kaleidescape zones in their living rooms, in addition to the theater, may be probably very wanting or very inclined to upgrade their C's to V's
Right.
for this reason, so that you don't have to double download. You can
Mhm.
only then you only have to download the Dolby Vision copy, and the V in your theater will play it'll play like the HDR10 base layer out of the Dolby Vision, but the C can't do that. So I want to look into that a little bit more, but I think it's a really interesting distinction, something I'm curious to test out when mine comes in.
Yeah. Yeah. And as you can see right here, is the Strato V replacing the Strato C? Obviously, no. And then it says, who should buy the Strato V? New customers when it's a standalone option. Customers can add storage to the purchase. So, on their website, it's support.kaleidescape.com. you can find all these frequently asked questions. It's support.kaleidescape.com article / Strato V frequently asked questions. We'll put the link in the chat. I'll copy it and we'll put it up there so that you guys can. I'll put this. Let me copy this and put it in our chat, Ike, so that you can post it here. Let's see.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's a good change that they made. Obviously, they're not going to be able to appeal to everyone, but I think, if your home theater has gotten to a certain level, I don't think it's much of a net loss for you to be able to add a player like this, and then maybe hopefully, you know, get a larger storage. And I still don't understand why those other storages cost as much as they do. But I think the current one is, I think that the V is a good option. I'm sold with the V. It's
Yeah,
I think
look,
it's
I
a good
mean,
entry.
if you don't need to see the movie wall, it's a great option, right?
Everybody wants to see
If
the
you
movie
have the
wall, bro.
patience to just
Anybody wants to see that
I
movie
think the
wall.
movie wall I mean, not the movie
Anybody wants to
wall
see
as
that.
we know it will come because it only holds 10, but
Yeah.
Taylor was indicating something the other day on Giles's channel. He had a live stream with Taylor. Taylor is the CEO of Kaleidescape. He was saying he wouldn't talk about future products, but it kind of indicated that one of the cries from all the Kaleidescape users is that they want to be able to see both the movies that are downloaded and not downloaded on
Yes.
their system. So he kind of indicated that they might be working on that, but he just said that I don't want to talk about anything. I figured if they weren't working on it, he would have said no, we're not doing that, right? So
Yeah, I think a big reason they did this, and this is just conjecture, but I am a software developer by day, by trade. Spend a lot of time like designing UIs and interfaces and things too. Um, is the movie wall? It wouldn't have played the same way with with 10 films. Like the
Yeah.
wall as it is right now, it wraps and repeats.
Yeah.
And so, and I don't know what the total count is, but you probably see some few dozen movies. So if you only have 10 things downloaded and you did the movie wall as it's implemented, you'd have like 30 movies, 10 things repeated, and I think it would be a little
No,
goofy. They could have solved that by taking out the wrapping feature or something, or made the
yeah,
posters
or
a
even
little
making the
bigger.
tiles bigger, right?
or
Yeah,
integrate it with a store, right?
Well,
So create a
right. Or
section
right.
where it's your movies that you own. Let's just say
Yeah.
in the middle,
yeah.
right? And then wrap it around with the store. That even makes me want to buy more stuff, right? Because when I'm looking
Yeah.
at it, I see it. I'm like, oh, let me
It's
buy
like,
this,
oops,
or let
you
me
don't
rent
own
it.
this.
I think
Yeah, no, but
how
you
they
get
should
to
have
integrate
done
it.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah, how they should have done it is just like any other you know, share drive or whatever that's not actually a drive. You have basically your poster wall of all your owned movies, and in the corner it
Yeah.
has a little green cloud icon that says, "Hey, this one's in the cloud for you." And
yeah, you
then
can
Yep.
download it
not
directly
not
or
have
something.
it, yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
not have
Yep.
it if you know, just have a blank or a regular poster wall if it's actually on the device. That way you can easily say, oh, well, I want to watch this movie. You click on it, and then it basically lists your movies in order. You
Right.
prioritize them or mark, like you said, put some of them as your favorites, and any of the other ones, maybe it just randomly changes that one to the green icon, and poop, and whatever movie
Yeah.
you selected.
Yeah, or simple,
That's
just
not
just
bad.
integrate it with your store. I think that would be
Yeah.
good. Create one section, in let's just say 80% of the screen is the store, right? Recommended, whatever, similar to what you already downloaded. They can do that, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
So we'll see, but I
because you
think they
know
will.
the hardware can do it because
Yeah,
they
we
can.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, and they seem to have an understanding of the software part of it too. So. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
but let's
Yeah.
see.
I think more will be
They
coming
might
for
be
sure.
listening. They might be listening to us. So
Yep.
think about
I've
it.
definitely I've definitely been a big advocate of wanting to see my entire movie collection, even in the existing platform, long before the V. It's been a point of discussion, and I think it would be fine on this. Like that would be the way to bring the movie wall back to the V. Is show your entire collection, put a quick
Yeah.
click or something button on the remote that lets you easily flip between what is downloaded and everything. Because
Mm-hmm.
like in my case, I think I've got literally 1,500 movies in my account, and if I only have 10 downloaded, that's a lot of searching to find what's actually there.
Right.
So there has to be a mechanism to go back and forth, if that were my thing. But there was a recent thread on
Now, you
Kscape Owners
purchased all
Forum.
1,500 of them, or they're just you just cataloged them all?
No, that's like my legit library.
Oh,
Like I
wow.
said, I ported in several hundred movies from Ultraviolet. I got back in whatever that was, 2016, or it might have been 2017, 2018. Before Kaleidescape used to be part of Ultraviolet. They never joined Movies Anywhere or never were accepted into Movies Anywhere. I don't know what
Okay.
the rationale, but they were part of UV. So back in the day, you could redeem codes that came with physical media. Voodoo, right, and other places were all part of UV, and it linked to the Kaleidescape account, which was
Okay.
awesome. So that padded up a good bit of my library, and then it's just been 7 years of watching the sales and buying the bundles and doing a bunch of disc to digital and other things like that.
Yep.
Like that as well. Oh, I forgot the
A true collection there, yeah, because that's
Yeah.
most people that collect have a couple thousand movies close to.
But
Yeah.
there was a thread recently on Kaleidescape Kscape Owners Forum. If anybody is like kind of mildly interested in the platform, or if you're already in it, I think Kscape Owners Forum is a really great place to go. A lot of like dedicated owners gather there and discuss. That's where actually Kaleidescape reps kind of interact with the ownership community and stuff as well. But one of the K developers was specifically talking about this, and he spoke. This was just in the last few weeks to kind of some of the complexities of, they know all about the request to want to see all the movies, and it's not as simple ultimately as of a thing as it may seem. Software development can be really, really tough sometimes, and even like some of the things that seem obvious to do because of legacy code and the way things are built and an architecture of this, it changes in.
That legacy code is usually a huge challenge, especially when you're still supporting your older devices.
Yeah.
And now you're running this new Stratus V that is probably on a different chipset and different code, and it'll take a while, but
It sounds like what they need is the same sort of system they use for video games. Like the Xbox Game Play Store on Xbox, you just scroll through all movies and it has an icon to say whether it's downloadable, already downloaded, whatever, and it's just everything's there. Pretty easy. Simple toggle goes back and forth between what's been downloaded and what's available, what's new. A lot of
on the classic
video menus
on the
like
classic
that.
Yeah, on the classic UI right now, the store section of the UI, the UI really has 4 sections. There's the movie wall, the list view of what is downloaded, the store, and then like the settings and kind of information section. The store actually does have like a My Movies, which is all of your movies in the cover flow, but and then you can go to different other filters and things like that. But
even the app has the ability to differentiate between the two of what you got downloaded and what you don't, and stuff like that on the app on the phone. But just the player itself at this moment doesn't have that capability at the moment. But like I said, I think they indicated that it's probably something that's going to be coming, as with an update, a software update or something like that, firmware update. So but yeah, it's look, I mean, I'm excited about it. I soon as I saw the videos pop up, I basically just said I gotta have it. So gotta bring it to you. Gotta bring it to the house and test it out. We'll be doing a live unboxing. Once I get it, we'll be doing an unboxing. either the day I get it, well, maybe we'll do something special, Ike,
Yep.
for a night, just unbox it and then I'll get it hooked up to a TV, and because I only have one Dolby Vision TV. It's actually what I use for my monitor now, just a cheap TCL. But I do plan on upgrading to the LG the G4 eventually.
Nice.
So, but I'm gonna wait till the end of the year when the prices go down, when they start introducing the new models. So
Yeah, I think one way to look at it too is like it's never going to be, probably this platform will never be for everybody. It will probably
right.
never be a super mass market device, but with this move, it is definitely for a whole lot more people than it was a couple days ago. So
Yeah, because I mean, one of the biggest complaints that I heard, besides price was always number one, but the second one was it don't have Dolby Vision.
Yeah.
mhm.
Right, and that was from all the people that said,
Yep.
what
Half the
it
price.
don't have Dolby Vision. It don't have Dolby Vision.
Yep.
So I mean, look, I'd still say it's very hard. If you were doing a blind test between HDR10 and Dolby Vision, I mean,
Yeah.
for me, I don't think that you'd be able to tell the difference. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I wonder, does anybody on the panel favor Dolby Vision, or are they pretty agnostic? Honestly, I don't pay attention anymore. Like we've never
Yeah.
had it in projectors, so it's never been a factor in the theater where I
Sure.
usually watch my movies.
Yeah,
and-
for projector, it's all about the immersion for me, right? It's like I don't know if some movies I even prefer to just watch in SDR. If it's and yeah, if your screen is big enough, you're just gonna be captured in the immersion. I'm not
Yeah.
not sure
you
why.
really are
Third
not going to
HDR.
see much difference unless you're A/Bing them, anyways.
yeah.
There's a quick question about 3D. Do you guys have any idea if 3D or whatever is supported? Is it currently supported?
It's not supported currently. I don't think it's something that they'll. I wish they would. I don't think that's something that they're going to. I'm a 3D movie lover. I probably got 120, 130 titles of 3D. Yeah, I mean, I wish they would, but I don't think it's a priority of theirs.
Yeah, I think it'll take another major attempt and true penetration of 3D back again, like in a new format, or another run for them to maybe even look at it. What we've had for 3D in years past, I think is gone at this point.
Hey Dave, don't let us keep you up, man. We can we can keep going, but don't let us
No.
hold you if you have to call it an
Well,
evening.
I haven't really been interested in the Kaleidescape just because of cost.
Yeah.
But with the new, we were right next to him at M-Wave, and so we told us about the new V coming out. I could see it for the shop, sooner as far as using that to take to demos. But yeah, so I'm sort of learning this. You guys were talking about the wall, and I'm like, the heck are these guys talking about? I'm clueless here. I looked it up, and I found some of the links as well. So this is good stuff. But yeah, it's getting near midnight, and but I was reading the comments actually, and
Yes.
you stopped me. You were probably thinking, "Oh, David's falling asleep." No,
No.
I
just
was reading
Just looking down.
comments.
No, I know you're Eastern time zone, right? I believe so. I was just trying to be,
Yeah, it's almost midnight here.
Central
and
time, guys,
once we
until 1 a.m.
start talking Kaleidescape with Dawn, we could be here till 12 a.m. and then we got Jeremy too, so it might be 2 a.m. too. So
Yeah, I
Actually,
can't match Don's excitement because he's talking about, I'm going to have one soon. I'm going to get a boxing. I'm excited. I can't
That's
match
what
that,
sells
Don.
units right there.
it's the
Yeah, no,
spirit, right?
I am excited about it. Was
I
a
would
little
be
taken
too.
back was a little taken back when I found out it wouldn't work with my Strato S, but you know,
Yeah.
so what? I got to download the movie twice, right? Who cares, right? The one's going to take 10 minutes and the other one's still going to take the 45 minutes, right?
Yeah.
I don't care. I'll watch it on the 10-minute one. And I'll download it to the 45-minute one later, right? So you can have up to 5 devices on your account. So I mean, I can have one in the Caribbean, I can have one in wherever else, and then or I can have one in the bedroom, I can have one in the one count in the bedroom, one count in the theater, one count upstairs. They don't recommend to do it that way. The recommendation is just to hook it to your Prime server, right? So it all counts as one unit rather than, and I think the Prime server can play out to 10 different devices, depending on the server that you have.
Well, I guess the beating floor is open because now we can't leave until someone buys one.
All right.
Don, you mentioned you needed some subs, so maybe we can come up with a deal. Let me borrow your Caribbean house for a week.
I wish I had one.
Subs.
Let me find somebody that I know that has a house in the Caribbean. Jonathan. Let me call Jonathan out.
We know people.
We know
I'm gonna Airbnb Jonathan's house.
He's probably in there right now somewhere.
No, actually, he just came back. I spoke to him the other day. Hadn't spoke to him for quite some time. Got to catch up with him. But I do want to switch gears real quick because I know we're about at time. I want to talk about. Let me share this screen with you real quick because I actually got this little interesting device in for a review the other day.
Oh, okay. What's my screen share? I can't put it full screen.
Oh boy!
So we got the Fosi MC3581, the integrated amplifier, which I've been looking for a product like this to take to my office and use as like a 2-channel setup at my office at work. And the good thing is that this has a subwoofer out. It's got, let's see if I can find a picture of the back of it.
Yeah, look at you guys, man. 2-channel setups at work and all the. That's
yeah, man.
You got a Mariana 18 at work, so you can piss off all your coworkers.
Yeah, make it look like
right under your desk.
That's awesome. I got 130 dB at my work desk.
So it's got the little meter in the front. It's got the subwoofer output. It's got Bluetooth, all the coaxial inputs and stuff like that. So I'm excited to review this because I actually have one of their other amplifiers that doesn't have it's not an integrated like this. I actually purchased
3 sets of binding posts.
I was just looking at that.
What's that all about?
Sub, and sub. Right,
look that up.
Left,
two speakers and
sub.
sub.
Yep.
What is it?
We're gonna go ahead. We're gonna get a close look at it real quick because I'm gonna do an unboxing on this thing right now.
I'd probably drop something in this. I've long, maybe at some point I'll do it. I'd love to get like a kind of an arcade 2-player stand-up machine for playing some fighting games and stuff like that. This would be
awesome.
perfect to drop in there to like run the audio system off like you put a PlayStation 5 in with some arcade controls and run the audio on that guy.
You haven't even.
There's a lot of room at the bottom of those arcades for 18-inch subwoofers.
There you go.
As long as you can clean up the circuitry and the boards. A roommate and I had a Mortal Kombat 2 original cabinet with the Raiden artwork on the side, original buttons, original boards, original like CRT. It was wild.
That's cool.
Yeah, I think Don disconnected his camera trying to.
Yeah, we got the other camera hooked up now. Can you highlight me?
See that thing on the.
Oh, we can't see you. Are you on there?
Yeah, I'm on there. I'm up at the top. It says hi-fi
Oh,
Hi-Fi
okay.
made fun.
Oh, why you not doing a screen share?
there it
Okay,
is.
you're doing a top unboxing.
Oh, it's
Oh,
the
Yeah, we're
box.
gonna do a
sheesh.
top unboxing.
Ah,
Highlight
my,
me there.
my bad.
Come on, Navigator.
My bad.
Oh, that's not a still image. That's an overhead. Nice.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
an
It's
overhead.
like you
Yeah, that's
dropped
what
it.
threw me
You
off.
dropped
I
the
was like,
box.
what are we looking at?
So we got the optical cord here, the power cable, the USB to USB-C, the brick comes in this nice little box here. So I like the way this thing looks, man. So
Oh, it's a 165 watts into 4 ohms plus the 350 watts into 4 ohms. So it can power a passive subwoofer. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I
get
saw
yourself an
that. I was
18.
like, oh, wow, yeah. Right.
No, get a 10.
Yeah, dual opposed
Yeah, we
10s.
can see it. Turn it the other way around. It's upside down. Yeah, we see it.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. Yeah, that's cool that it has a sub out. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Now the
you can do
question
like a
I wonder
passive. That's crazy.
if it actually does low and high pass for the mains.
That's a good question. If it
Yeah,
does have high
it's
pass
gotta have a crossover.
internally.
so it does have controls, bass and treble controls.
You need to flip it for
Flip
remember
it.
bottom is on the other side. Yeah. There you
Okay, that's good.
go. Yep. And the view meter is pretty cool. I mean, everyone likes a view meter.
Yeah, it has that old school vibe.
Tone controls, and they went with like a copper. Copper finish.
Yeah, copper knobs and rings. Looks little bits and pieces that just copy other brands.
Yep.
What
Wonder-
does
it
it
No, but
must be
I
weigh
because
think
it
like
this
has
is
though?
like
great for, like you said, putting it in a game system.
So you can do
Yep.
USB-C in optical. Now
Yep,
that's upright and coax. Okay.
That's
Or
cool.
that's plenty of option.
And Bluetooth.
Oh,
And
okay.
Oh,
Bluetooth, yeah. RCA and Bluetooth.
And
Yeah.
Bluetooth.
what version of Bluetooth? 5 or 4?
I think it's 5.
Oh,
We can look up the web. We can go back to the website after this and look at it.
and
It's
then
actually
if there's an
it's actually up on sharing right now if you want to switch
and
back.
it also has a pre-out. That's
Auxiliary pre-out. Yeah, it's Bluetooth 5.3.
oh wow, yeah, that's nice. So that's lossless and um, quick
Yep.
sync or whatever.
Optical coaxial's 32-bit 192. Doesn't say what chip.
Yeah, because I've been waiting for that Wim Ultra. Is it the Ultra Wim?
Yeah,
But
the streamer preamp. Yeah.
yeah, that thing doesn't seem to ever want to come out. They just keep pushing the date, the availability date.
There's so many reviews of it. Some people do have it.
Yeah, let me switch back. So
Go ahead and
That's what
switch
happens.
back to the.
They release all the units out to the reviewers, and no customers can actually get their
I
hands
know,
on it
right?
because everybody's got it on their YouTube channel.
I haven't even seen a lot of videos on it. So, but Crutchfield
that
and
guy,
everyone says it's coming
That
out
guy
in
Steve Huff
August.
just did one compared to all of his other stuff, so that was interesting.
So yeah, 165 times 2 and 350. The Fossis, they offer a lot of times they'll offer to where you can purchase a bigger power brick too to give it more
Yes,
power.
and it does
Oh,
make a difference. Get the
wow.
48 volt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's cool.
seems like a lot
That
of power.
is, yeah, that's awesome.
Yes,
Yeah, I thought the
164
same
4
thing,
ohms.
Jeremy. I thought it's a lot of power for such a little box.
Obviously, Class D, but yeah, well, I mean
Yeah.
that's Class D. All those things are, people don't realize it's like it's digital amplification, so it's, you know,
Yeah,
it works
can
completely different than the old school. So you got these big amps that they're just so they stack better. That's it. What's inside of them is,
Mm.
tiny. That's how like all your PA stuff or you know your professional audio stuff works nowadays. I
Mhm.
mean, it's like
Yeah,
totally.
they're quoting 4 ohm there too, though, so that makes the numbers look bigger, right?
Yep.
So 165 4 ohm is 80, whatever, 8 ohms. So
Yep.
Yeah.
So it'd be half
But-
that at 8 ohms at minimum.
Could be
if not
maybe
less.
100.
Yep.
Still,
Don,
that's-
I shared a URL when we're done with this topic. You want to pull that up? So, yeah.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we can move on to this, to this next one. Let me.
Yeah,
open
you
this
can
up
you
and
can
then
pull that
we
up. So it
can-
looks like we have another 8K player on the market, right? So Zidu just announced the 8K players, and now it looks like Dune is coming out with 8K player too. Like, what's going on, man?
It's the
Yeah.
trend, man. Everybody's
like-
got to jump on it.
Like,
Yeah, you gotta get that number out there. You know.
yeah, and they have
What is-
2 players they just came out with. So if you hit that Dune HD at the top left or top left, just to go page back. So they have 2 players that they've come out with, the Solo and the 8K Plus.
So does it not come with a remote, or is that just in case you break it?
I know, right? It better come with a remote, but it might be an upgraded remote that they're just selling separately, or
If you stream enough sporting events, chances are you're going to end up throwing a remote at some point. That's a good option.
yeah.
Or
And-
play enough video games, right?
Yeah, controllers. Yeah, for sure.
Controllers or remotes or something.
Yeah, I was
Yep.
taking a look at the specs. That is just no different from the Zidu. Like, I feel like it just came out of the same manufacturing
Put
room,
a new chassis over it.
the same chipset. Just
Sure is.
about. I think there's one slight difference in the chipset, but I don't know. It's the same numbers, but the Zidu is a K and this one has a /J. And but there's only 2 of this.
What is this?
Zidu came out to the full set of devices.
Oh, that's the side view. Wow.
Yeah, that's the side view, which I thought was
Yeah.
interesting. I don't know why you want cables running out.
Ugly antennas on that thing.
I know, man.
Like, what is going on there? It looks like oars on the back.
That
of
is
that
like a
thing.
Wi-Fi 12 or something, man.
Judging
Yeah,
by
I'm
the side
wondering what the
ratios and
Wi-Fi
images
is
you
because
scale.
It's Wi-Fi
normally
6.
you can't, you can't stream stuff like this on these, 4K on these type of players.
They're Wi-Fi 6. They all have Wi-Fi 6.
Wi-Fi
And
6,
Ethernet,
that's not
yeah.
bad.
You should-
Speaking of Wi-Fi, Jeremy, you were speaking yesterday about getting fiber to your house.
Mhm.
I can tell you that I upgraded to the AT&T 5 gig, and then I
Oh, wow.
went and bought the Deco mesh system, the
Mhm.
Wi-Fi 7 mesh system, and
Mhm.
wireless to wired. I'm not sure if you're how familiar. You said you do a lot of
There's an IT
tech
guy,
stuff, so
yeah.
you know about this, but wireless to wired, I'm getting almost 2 gigs through Wi-Fi 7. So it may be an option for you just to get it ran into the house to where you need it, and then go
Yeah,
go
where-
Wi-Fi with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I remember you talking about that yesterday.
Yep. Yeah, I've been looking at a bigger, like, Ubiquity core networking overhaul. I've been wanting to have cameras on the house for a long time, and just never got around to doing that. But that's
Yeah.
all on the roadmap.
Well, I can tell you what, $400 for this player is a fantastic price. I mean,
Yeah, I have the Solo, the other one coming in. That one has a OneDrive bay coming in, and I'll be reviewing that whenever I get that, probably in another week or 2. The Solo 8K.
this one right here.
Yeah,
What are the difference?
this one has
One's-
a OneDrive HDD rack, so
Oh, for storage.
yeah, and I think it also has a music DAC or something for,
What
think it does.
does
Yeah.
Dune run for its UI nowadays? Is it its own thing or?
And yes, this one has Linux and Android. It's running off Linux, Android. The other one, Zdo and all that, just runs strictly on Android. This is a combo OS.
But they have their own movie wall app scraper kind of thing.
I like to
Or do
think
you
so.
just
I've
run
never
Plex
owned
on
a
it?
Dune, so this is going to be the first Dune
Yeah, it
device
says
that
Linux
I've
UI right
used.
here.
So yeah,
Linux UI plus Android 11.
yeah. I've
yeah,
never owned a Dune, so I really don't know what the menu is like. But I just want to get it to try and review it with. I thought about the Zdo. Like I already have the Revolution 8K. We're getting the mini right, probably at the end of the month too. I'm like, that's a lot of that's a lot of players,
Yeah.
So there's no point for me, except if Zdo sends me one for review. There's no point for me trying to get. And I
It
think
supports
Jordan,
up to a 20 gig hard drive too, which is good.
Yeah.
Jeez, that's amazing.
20
yep,
terabytes.
and it's hot
20
swappable
terabyte.
too.
I'm sorry.
Hot
Thank you.
swap, too.
Thank you
Yeah,
for
you could
correcting
just
me on that.
move your alphabetically ordered movies and just
And it,
Yeah,
and it
whichever-
does have a poster wall on this. I thought it did, but yeah, it says right there, play it. It doesn't say what kind it is, but I'm sure it's Kodi in the background. Supports playback movie ISO/folder structures, including full support disk menus. So it's gonna probably be an older version or maybe a newer version of Kodi. So it's gonna probably be the same type of freeware software in the background.
Yeah,
Yeah, I do
so
agree.
look, if you don't want to purchase Kaleidescape, this is another option. We're not. I know we promote Kaleidescape a lot, but as mentioned, we talk about our evolution. We talk about the Zune players. We talk about everything. So this is another option for you. It's not as convenient or as easy as a Kaleidescape. It does take some work. As we said, because you have to rip the movies, and sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. As Ike mentioned today, he was
just
texting
dealing with
us
it
and
today, man. Just texting.
so
I couldn't
Someone
read my
asked
sound of
which
music, man. I was
one-
pissed off.
Which one that you would choose, or what's the difference between the Zdo 8, the Dune 8, and the Arvolution?
So that's going to be a good video by Ike because
Yeah,
he's the one that's got all of them.
Yeah, so I'm
right?
gonna end up. I mean, I don't think I'm gonna get the Zdo, but Jordan is. I think Jordan already has one in house, so he's gonna be reviewing it. But I will be comparing this one with the Revolution 8K. And if I do get the Zdo, it's going to be the mini player because we're getting the Revolution 8K player for review. So I think I might just. The Zdo 8K is probably going to be the cheapest, the smallest box. I'll probably get that one just to be able to review it. But dude, my rack, I have a 42U rack and it's full. I'm already looking for a second rack. It's like, come on, man.
One just for his review units, yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
The
I need a
solution isn't to
smaller
simplify
one.
gear; it's to get in more rack space, right?
I know, right? So, yeah. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, I've never owned a Dune, so I need to get it out there. But I think I found it curious that they're all coming out at the same time. So we'll see. Zdo just came out last week, and now we got Dune, and who knows what else is coming.
I think that covers them all. To be honest with you, they're all just flying out all at one time. So,
Yep, got the 8K war going on.
Yeah.
yeah.
Is that
for all that
chipset, man?
8K content that you
I
have.
know, right? I can't wait for all the 8K movies coming out, man. Fast and Furious 8K. That would be so annoying to watch. Can you imagine watching those weak ass animations they got going
Triple
on
X.
in 8K?
And
I was so pissed.
oh yeah, some of the graphics of old movies is really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paul's question that he had to Kaleidescape, that'll be coming out in 8K. When are they coming out with the Triple X movies, right?
So, yeah, so you're
I don't want to watch
you're
those movies in 8K, man.
well, yeah, your Kaleidescape V will only be able to hold 2 movies.
Yeah.
Oh, quickly, we got one quick question that just came in, but I don't know. Do they do the disc to digital for 3D movies?
For what?
If you
Disc
put
to
the 3D
digital
disc
if
in.
you have a 3D disc. Do you think it will work? Try it, Don.
I'll have to try it. I don't think so, but I mean, I can try it. I've never tried it before. I've always you have to put the Blu-ray in first of all. You can't even put the 4K
Yeah,
disc
you
in.
can't put the.
So you have to do that. But I've not tried the 3K, to see if it'll take it back to Blu-ray quality or even update it to a
I
4K.
think
Have you tried that, Jeremy?
No, I don't have any. I don't have any 3D. 3D is something that never really appealed to me too much. The couple instances that I've tried it years back at home and at the theater, motion wise and stuff, didn't work for me that well. But disc to digital is based entirely just upon like identifying the like the code to say that this disc is this movie. And so if it reads the disc and it's able to get an indication that this is gravity, it may give you the same offer anyway.
Yeah.
If you get the offer, I don't think it would. You would definitely get the upgrades because all the D to D stuff ends up being like an offer to get whatever the highest quality in the store is. I've seen conflicting things too. I know it's not officially supported and whatnot, that like folks have even had some success putting 4K discs in and still having them read, but
Oh, really?
it's not universal. But
I think you would have to
the anecdotes that I've seen people mention that, I'm not sure that I would say that is like a reliable expectation or anything. But so it all just depends on what's in their databases and what it's reading off of the disk to identify that this specific disk maps to a specific movie, and then finds it or makes the connection through the system and gives you the offer. But if you have the 3D and you bought it in a combo pack, you probably have the HD
Right.
Blu-ray anyway. So
Yeah, no, I've not tried it yet. I do have it hooked up to my player. I will tell you that it's probably very hard for me to get to it because I have that where my rack is. It's inside of a closet underneath of my steps, and right now I have like everything piled in there because I moved it out of the room to thank you, Fred, to actually do drywall. So Fred had said that I can download movies faster than a piece of drywall. Sometimes that is true, and the reason is there's a lot of cutouts, right? My back wall, it has a subwoofer junction box, the power junction box. You got the light switch, you got the AC infinity fan, then you got 2 speaker junction box. So yeah, I got to measure and cut all those things. So you're exactly right. For me to do a piece of drywall.
Later, Dave.
But yeah.
Okay,
So hey Dave, I appreciate
yeah.
appreciate you hanging out for this
We're
long. We're
about
getting
to
ready to
call
end
it
this now
anyways.
anyway.
I
But
think I've heard enough movies.
Appreciate it.
yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much
You
for
guys
joining
reach out
us.
to Deep Sea Sound. Show them some support. Great bunch of guys there. We had great conversations at M-Wave. So
Yep.
show
I
some
can
support to the little guys that are trying to make it big, and go ahead and buy yourself a 24.
They look good. Trust me,
I get
they look
2.
good. So
You need to one up the guy that bought 4, so you need to get like
yeah,
6 of them.
get you 6.
Yeah, we've only, he was one of my early 24 customers, and he bought the 424s, and I haven't sold 424s since. A couple 24s, couple 18s, definitely 418s. You saw the one picture with 618s. But yeah, well, I appreciate it. Yeah, we're little guys. We're hoping to become less little. I'm not
Absolutely.
sure big is what we expect, but I appreciate it. This was awesome. Thank you.
No, thank you so much. Thank you for joining. Thank you for allowing us this opportunity.
Oh,
to see
yeah.
you.
Appreciate it. Take care, guys. Thanks.
Okay. Good night.
So, Fred 215 says, "Is the Arvolution better than Plex?" So, I never ran Plex. One guy that actually switched from Plex to Zadoo. I don't think you have much experience with the Arvolution other than the M-Wave, Paul. What would your synopsis be on this?
I don't know that there's really that much of a difference, to be honest. As far as movie wise, I think your Arvolution is going to be a more consistent device, kind of like the Zadoo or the Dune, where Plex runs on anything.
Yeah.
So your audio is, unless you have an NVIDIA Shield, the audio is not going to be a pass-through audio. And that's to date, the only thing that does true pass-through is the NVIDIA Shield. That's it.
Yeah,
So
I think Plex.
any other device wouldn't be able to do that natively. So that's why you would want to get an Arvolution as opposed to, you're still doing the same work to get your movies. So,
Yeah, Plex is going to be heavily dependent on the device you're running it from.
Is it true? Is it true too that Plex isn't going to play BDMV and ISO? So if you're doing Plex,
Yes,
you're
it
ripping
doesn't.
MKV.
It does not.
So that changes calculus too, depending on how you want to rip and how much time and effort and work you want to put into it.
Yeah,
Right.
you're going to have to rip MKV all through. So if you want to use Plex.
Conversations to digital movies and libraries really puts a spin all the time I spent on Pirate Bay.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Just wanna. That's where that's where my mind is at about all this conversation, because all the files I have are from then. I haven't done anything HD. Just it's a different era.
Yeah.
So we're going to go ahead and wrap this up here. Jeremy, tell them where they can see you at on YouTube. Make sure you guys go over and subscribe to his channel if you haven't already.
Yeah, Tech Enthusiasm is the name. Thought it was clever when I made it up. So I talk all the home theater stuff and a bunch of other things. I kind of put the channel together to be general tech, but it's really the AV home theater elements that really flew, and it's been a fun experience doing this. And I love being part of the community. Made a lot of friends.
Yeah, we got to get you back one to do a theater tour too. Just do a walkthrough of your theater
off a bit.
So that way, one thing I would like to do, because we haven't done it for a while, is get a home theater scheduled. So if you'd like to be on the show, please reach out to us at hometheaterhublive@gmail.com. That way we can feature your theater, whether it be a living room setup, a dedicated room, a converted shed. Doesn't matter to us. Whatever you enjoy, we'll enjoy also. So go ahead and send us an email. That way we can get a theater tour scheduled.
And it sounds like we're going to be a new segment called 2-channel work audio. Get your 2-channel setup at work. What do you have?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Show us your work desk.
Yeah.
So Joseph, talk to them about where they can find your channel, sir.
All of my audio media is on Siphonics Audio, pretty much Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, all the same name. I haven't ventured into TikTok yet because I don't dance. I should be on there just for the sake of it, because media spreads the way it does. And I mean, really, if you're reaching out to a community and you're building like inspiration and ideas and things like that, it really doesn't matter what the platform is. Yeah, just a couple of new things coming up, and then the next little while, all secretive right now, because I'm trying to do things bigger. And in order to do that, I want to do them the right way. So everything at Siphonics Audio.
Very good. Very good. Well, thank you everyone for joining tonight. Appreciate the support. Appreciate the comments. If you haven't subscribed to these guys' channels or Ike's channel or my channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button and like the video. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Bye.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Later.